New tornado warning is out for southeastern parts of Bourbon County and a very small part of southern Nicholas County. That is with that storm we were just tracking a little bit ago coming out of the Paris area in Bourbon County. What we've got is a severe thunderstorm watch that is out across the southern half of the state. This one lone thunderstorm, though, is outside of the severe thunderstorm watch area. This is into the southeastern corner of Bourbon County. It's very close now to the Montgomery County line, and here's the area where we've got the possible tornado. This warning isn't going to last very long at all because that storm is almost out of Bourbon County already, and in about 5 to 10 minutes or so that should be out of southeastern parts of Bourbon County, getting into northern Montgomery County, into areas across northwestern sections of the Bourbon County area, or I should say into Bath County as well. That is with that rotation that's going to roll its way toward the east. Additional strong thunderstorms are out into parts of central Kentucky right now. Got strong storms around parts of the Lexington area and west, and then severe thunderstorm warning is out for areas southwest of us, and that's going to continue to be the case as we go through. But that tornado warning that we're dealing with right now is for this particular storm into the southeastern corner of Bourbon County. And that's going to make its way quickly out of Bourbon County. Man, oh man, Jim, if we can zoom in on this area, we'll take the velocity off of this and we'll zoom in on what we're dealing with here into the eastern part of Bourbon County, because this is on top of the Montgomery County line, and this is where we switch National Weather Service offices. So we've got this tornado warning southeastern Bourbon, Montgomery County, Bath County. You are in the jurisdiction of the National Weather Service down in Jackson. So they have not extended this tornado warning, and you can see the small piece of real estate we are dealing with into the North Middletown area over toward Plum. That's going to continue to roll its way toward Sharpsburg and into northern parts of Montgomery County. That is the Judy area. That's along Highway 11. But the rotation that we're seeing, and what we can do, we can go and look at the velocities on this particular map here to show you where that little bitty spin is. And you know, about 10 minutes or so ago, when this was on top of the Paris area, you could see just a small amount of rotation. This is what we're dealing with. It is right on top of Plum, and that's going to roll its way across 57 and heading toward the far southern parts of Nicholas County, and from there that's going to work its way into northern Bath County, northern parts of Montgomery County. But so far we have not had an eastward extension on that particular tornado warning, but we got the area that with a spin showing up here right on top of Plum into southeastern parts of Bourbon County. So if you're watching us on the Bourbon, Nicholas, Bath, Montgomery County line area in that particular part of the state, that's where this line is heading to very, very quickly, this particular storm. Now, we're seeing an eastward extension where the severe thunderstorm warning is out from the National Weather Service in Jackson. So they're not going to carry over this tornado warning. They're going to just go ahead and blanket this area with a severe thunderstorm warning that is out, and that includes, boy, that is a really, really, really odd looking map. My goodness. This is the severe thunderstorm warning that is including Montgomery County and into Bath County and gets into a small part of Menifee County, or goes around it and into a small part of Morgan County. That should include Menifee County too. The Weather Service in Jackson just completely drew this one up wrong. You see the notch in here that has no explanation for that to be there. But here is the storm that is heading towards Sharpsburg into central Kentucky right now. Strong thunderstorms south of Nicholasville into Jessamine County toward Bryantsville. Tornado warning continues with this cell, but it's lost the spin with that. That is now heading toward the Springfield area, rolling toward the east out of Loretto. But we can look at this storm, and yeah, they should go ahead and probably just cancel that particular tornado warning. The rotation with that is gone. But additional thunderstorms around Bowling Green, and then toward the east, we're watching those storms that are going up out ahead of the main line. Right now, nothing that is severe, just some strong thunderstorms from Jackson County back toward the southwest, northern parts of Pulaski County, north of Somerset, Eubanks, southern parts of Lincoln County as well. And that's going to continue to roll its way toward the east and the northeast as we go through the next little bit. But overall, that tornado warning that is out for Montgomery, or I should say for the southeastern part of Bath County, southeastern part of Bourbon County that is rolling toward Bath County, is a very, very small storm that we're dealing with, and that's going to continue to make its way on to the east. North Middletown, hey, we're clear from this, but if you're in the southeastern corner of Bourbon County, rolling into Bath County, northern parts of Montgomery County, we did not get an eastward extension of that particular tornado warning. Let's hope that that is because the storm is weakening, but we are still seeing just a little bit of some broad rotation within this, and that's going to continue to work across toward Judy, north on Highway 11. That takes us right on into Sharpsburg, into northwestern parts of Bath County. So if you're in this particular area, do me a solid, go ahead and hit the storm shelter. That is a broad rotation with this. So you can see how the winds in red are going in one general direction. The winds in the green are going in a different direction. So we've got this broad rotation that is spinning around this part of our storm that is working its way in quickly from northwest to southeast. This whole line itself is rolling toward the southeast. So that tornado warning, Jim, go ahead and click on this. We'll get the expiration time on this because we are likely getting very close to this storm expiring. I've got 6 more minutes of this, but in 2 or 3 minutes from now, that is going to be out of Bourbon County and into northern parts of Montgomery County and northern Bath County. But again, that is only a severe thunderstorm warning that is out into Bath County, into Montgomery County, down into what should be Menifee County and a part of Morgan County as well, with that particular storm that is heading toward the southeast. So you see again, the funky nature of that warning polygon that was drawn up. They need to go ahead and replace that and get a better polygon out with that. But the severe thunderstorm warning with this does include Mount Sterling, includes the Owingsville area, and right on top of Cave Run Lake, and just essentially on the western side of Cave Run Lake, with that storm dropping in from the northwest. We're losing a little bit of the lightning with that, so that may be an indication the storm is starting to come down a little bit. You get north of 64, instability here is much, much lower than the instability along and south of Interstate 64, because southern Kentucky today, temperatures have been in the 80s. We've had gusty winds. We've got high humidity. Dew points are darn near 70 degrees. So it's a summertime day across southern parts of Kentucky, and these individual thunderstorms are starting to pop. That's a strong storm here between Richmond and Nicholasville, and that's going to continue to make its way into northern parts of Madison County. Storm around Frankfort, losing some of the lightning, but boy, look at the big kind of congregation of the lightning showing up with that particular storm. It still somehow has that tornado warning with it into Washington County and parts of Marion County, but that's going to roll its way to the east. The overall circulation with that, or the spin, is not as prominent as what we were dealing with about 15 minutes ago, or certainly a half hour ago. But the 2 tornado warnings that we have, southeastern Bourbon County into very, very far southern parts of Nicholas County, that is going to expire in just a matter of about 4 minutes from there. Notice the individual thunderstorms that are going up here across southern Kentucky with those storms that are flaring up. Listen, it wouldn't take much to get some hail out of these thunderstorms that are on their own, and we'll watch and see if any of those start to spin just a little bit. So let's go back into Bourbon County, and let's keep folks here updated on what is happening with this storm as it rolls its way now. This is almost out of Bourbon County and is into the Sharpsburg area and toward Judy here into northern parts of Montgomery County. This does not have the supercell characteristics that it was trying to get about 20 minutes or so ago when we popped that tornado warning. But nonetheless, if you're in Owingsville, and you got a couple of minutes to get the car in the garage, that may be a large hail producing thunderstorm that is making its way on into parts of Bath County and now into Sharpsburg, North Middletown. Thunder and lightning is here, but overall we're about ready to sound the all clear with this particular tornado warning out of Bourbon County and southern parts of Nicholas County, as that's going to continue now to make its way out of those counties. And as we explained earlier, this is the difference in the jurisdiction between different National Weather Service offices. Nicholas County, Bourbon County, you're under the jurisdiction of the National Weather Service out in Louisville. Farther to the south of that, into Montgomery and Bath, we are under the umbrella of the National Weather Service down in Jackson. So we put a track on this storm. So this is going to be on top of Owingsville coming up at 2:36. That is in about a 25-minute period from now or so, give or take a little bit. 2:51 Salt Lick, and eventually getting into Rowan County, Lakeview Heights area, Moorhead coming up around 3 o'clock or so. And what the radar is doing, we can just ask our radar to say, hey, look, what are you seeing with this storm? and show me what you're seeing. It's no longer plotting it as a mesocyclone or a storm that is spinning. Essentially, this is now saying, hey, we got some large hail with this particular storm, and that is what we're dealing with that as it makes its way to the east. I see the new severe thunderstorm warning polygon blinking. That's likely an indication they've updated that warning to better reflect those counties that were off to the east, and yep, there we go. So that severe thunderstorm warning only gets into Bath and Montgomery counties as of right now. So that does not go into Menifee and certainly did not get into Morgan. That will go until 2:30 with that part of our cell. Notice some heavy rain here into Hillsborough, into Flemingsburg, Madison County. And again, we're going to watch this storm as it rolls its way toward the southeast. Let's go back into the Lexington Metro, see what we're dealing with here locally, because our tornado warning there is 30 seconds or so away from expiring. Heavy rain coming into play. The best instability locally is to our south from Lexington. It is from roughly Richmond and points south from there. And as you get closer to Richmond, you see that thunderstorm that is flaring up. Thunderstorms back to the west of us continue to make their way across Marion County into Washington County. And boy, they're sticking with that tornado warning. At least it's on the graphic here. And the storm is essentially out of that particular tornado warning that is to the west of Springfield. Storms are now to the east. Okay, we just lost that warning. And that probably should have happened a little sooner. We lost the tornado warning into Bourbon County as well. So as of right now, for the first time in a little bit, no active tornado warnings until a new one pops in. Tornado warning now in effect with this part of our storm that is now rolling its way out of Lebanon. This is for Boyle County. This is for northern parts of Casey County and into Marion County as well. Danville, this does not include downtown Danville. This includes Boyle, Casey, and Marion. And it goes until 2:45. And this is a storm. We'll take a look inside of it right now on top of Lebanon, where we're likely getting at least some rotation left over from what we were dealing with a little bit ago. And there you see that spin. Boy, that is right on top of Lebanon into Marion County. And that's going to continue to make its way toward the east. And that's going to roll its way through this particular part of the state very quickly. These storms aren't going to waste any time getting in. So if you're watching us right now into northern, far northern parts of Casey County and into western parts of Boyle County, do me a favor, go ahead and find your safe place. And if we got some, I know, let's see, we're still at school time, so we got some schools that are going to have to go into their tornado drills here into these particular areas, coming out of Lebanon, coming out of Marion County, and into Boyle County and northern parts of Casey County. So, all right, so for the school administrators there, this is why we have those tornado safety drills in the spring. We just had one not too long ago back in March. So we're going to follow that tornado safety plan. Kids, if you're watching, you may be a little scared, hang in there. We're going to get through this A-OK. You're just going to follow that safety, that tornado safety plan. We know what we do at school because we just did it not long ago. If you're at home already, we got you as well. We're going to go to the interior room, get to the lowest floor that you can. If you got a basement, that's where you want to go. That's where you want to kind of camp out for a little while, play some video games or whatever. And it's a good idea to put something on your head. I say this all the time. Put on a batting helmet, put on an old hard hat, put on a football helmet, a bicycle helmet, anything. I don't care how crazy it makes us look. We're going to put that thing on to protect our noggin, because when gusty winds, especially from a tornado blowing things around, first thing it may head toward is the old noggin, and we want to protect the head above all else. So we're going to head toward the basement, and if you're in a mobile home in these areas, you want to get out of there ASAP. You want to evacuate those very, very quickly. So the tornado safety rules, this is why we preach these all times of the year, because we want this to become muscle memory. All right, it's like during the pandemic, it was like putting on a mask. That was muscle memory, right? So here we are now with tornado warnings. We want that muscle memory to kick in for you to know exactly where you're supposed to go and where you're going to get to. So here's the broader view as of right now, with a tornado warning across parts of the Danville area, just west of Danville into Boyle County. That is a storm that has a history of rotation. This rotation with that storm goes back into Hardin County, goes back into the Nelson County area, but this is going to roll its way very quickly toward Gravel Switch. This is essentially working right along 68. So that is going to make its way across Gravel Switch, and that's going to get into western parts of Boyle County and northern sections of Casey County in no time. And in addition to just the tornado threat with this, which obviously is the main threat, let's say we don't get a tornado. Looking at the leading edge of this, that looks like something that's going to produce some damaging winds with or without a tornado. Here's hoping we don't get either of those two, but the leading edge of this has the look of something that's going to spit out some 50 to 60 mile-an-hour winds or greater. So here's the Pennock area, Riley, Gravel Switch. We are into Marion County here. This is 68 coming from Lebanon. That goes over into western parts of Boyle County. If you live along 68, you need to be in your safe shelter right now. The worst of this storm is right on top of Lebanon. You see all the lightning strikes with this, and this storm coming out of St. Mary was taking dead aim on downtown Lebanon. No report of a confirmed tornado with this, but this is one of those setups to where we look inside a thunderstorm and we see the possibility that there is rotation. There is enough spin to create a tornado warning. And you know, you're looking at this, and with or without a tornado, seeing these bright colors in the red here, we're likely getting in on some big time winds with this storm in Marion County right now. So the rotation with this still looks fairly broad, but overall this is likely a damaging wind producer with or without a tornado as it makes its way out of the Marion County area. And I've got Jim here. Jim, if we can get Jim a microphone, by the way, and an IFB. Are you seeing anything on social media or any reports? I mean, you can just give me a thumbs up, thumbs down over here. Thumbs down. So yeah, we're not seeing anything in terms of any reports as of now coming up out of the Lebanon area of Marion County. But again, that storm is going to make its way very quickly to the east along 68. That'll head toward Perryville. Folks in Perryville, tornado sirens are likely going off right now. We know the tornado sirens are going off in Marion County because we had that warning that was out a little prior to this particular warning that just got into areas of northwestern Marion County. But this particular warning now gets us into Boyle County and northern parts, far northern parts of Casey County. So if you're watching us right now into Liberty, into Casey County, you may hear the tornado sirens, but that would be for the far northern part of the area, far northern sections of Casey County and into southwestern parts of Bourbon County. That's going to continue to race its way to the east. So this tornado warning has a lifespan till 2:45, I believe. Is that right, Jim? 2:45 with this warning. So that's going to continue to zip its way very, very quickly into Boyle County. So let's reset everything. Let's broaden this back out and show folks what we're dealing with, because this is not the only game in town as of right now. Additional severe thunderstorms are across northeastern Kentucky, or parts of east central Kentucky, we should say. That is Montgomery County, Bath County. We've had those storms are weakening right now. You got less instability in this part of the world. We're going to likely fire up some additional tornado warnings across south central and southeastern Kentucky in time this afternoon. This may be one of those to where we see these storms as they encounter 80+ degree temperatures and dew points reaching 70 degrees or better, where those storms hit this and just all of a sudden start to explode a little more. And the concerning thing about this is that we've got a warm front that is draped on top of the region. Anytime I see a warm front draped through the area, when you've got additional storms that are out there, they hit that warm front and all of a sudden those storms can really start to spin, and that's going to continue to be the case. A couple of strong thunderstorms going up here into Leslie County, far southern parts of Clay County, northern Bell County too. But here is our tornado warning that is from Lebanon and rolling its way to the east as of right now. Do me a favor, hit that basement. If you don't have the basement, folks, it's the lowest level of your home or the building you are in. And then where do we go once we get to that lowest level? We go toward the center. We put as many walls between us and the outside as we possibly can. That is the idea. It gives you much more time and much more of a safety net, if you will. It's like when you're cold in the wintertime. You throw on layers, right? Well, in this case, to protect, we're not protecting ourselves from the cold, we're protecting ourselves from the winds outside. So we're going to do it in layers. Put as many walls between yourself and the outside as you can. And that tornado warning I see now, Lebanon has been cleared of this, as that circulation is now east of Lebanon. Gravel Switch, Perryville, we are next in line with this making its way through. And with or without a tornado, the look on this, where you see that little bit of a sharp backward sea here, suggests to me we're getting in on some damaging winds that are rolling across the eastern part of Marion County. And this is about to cross over into the Forkland area. That is 243, and this is 337 from Gravel Switch and point south from there. Riley, the Pennock area, that if we are getting a tornado, it is right on top of 68 and making its way toward western parts of Boyle County as of now. Jim, are you seeing anything coming from the National Weather Service on reports from this particular storm as of right now?
Nothing official saying that anything is on the ground or anything like that. So far, all the reports have been from radar indication that there could be some spin embedded within this, so that's kind of where we are. They backed off, of course, of one warning. They shaved the back off of this one too, and that's just kind of where we are right now with this particular one. But they are concerned about extensive, not only are we talking about, and you just mentioned, not only are we talking about this being a tornado warning storm, but it also has some extensive straight line wind potential on that leading edge. And you heard Chris talking about that just a minute ago, because on the leading edge of this, you go from green to yellow to red to orange in a hurry. When you see that happening on a radar image, that is telling you that there is a lot of wind driving that storm in the nose of it. And that's what's happening there when you see that rapid change go from, like I said, the green all the way over to red in such a short amount of time. So the concern is for a lot of straight line wind damage, along with the fact that there could be a tornado embedded within that cell as it continues to move along. It's still pretty intense. It really hasn't backed off as far as intensity is concerned, but as far as the spin, and that's what we look at here when I switch the imagery up a little bit, there's still hints of indication there, but there's also good indication there's just a lot of wind, just period.
When you look at this and you see, when we're looking at for a tornado, we would be looking at some green in here, or quite a bit of green that was butting up against this bright pink here and some white. Good news is we've lost the spin, the rotation within this. The bad news is, folks, this particular area where you're seeing the bright pink and the white here, you may have winds 70 to 80 miles an hour, and this is rolling its way toward the east. That is just to the southeast now of the Lebanon area. So Bradfordsville toward Gravel Switch, and now getting into northern parts of Casey County and western parts of Boyle County, the Perryville area. We need, even without a lot of rotation left with this now, let's treat that like a tornado, because 70 to 80 mile an hour winds, it's the equivalent of a weak tornado, but this can cause just as much damage. Remember what happened back on March 3rd. Goodness gracious, right. That was widespread, Jim. This is more of a pocket, a big pocket of high winds rolling to the east here, and it is heading into Casey County, far northern Casey County, and western parts of Boyle County. And I just saw the highest wind gusts I could see on the Kentucky Mesonet site was around 50 miles an hour with this particular line so far. But now that doesn't mean anything, because you're looking at just a couple of dots on a map, as opposed to, we don't have official observing sites all across the region. If we did, we'd be able to get a better idea of these storms and what they're doing at all times. But the official measurements with this around 50 miles an hour. But looking at that radar data, I would guess winds of 70 plus miles an hour are possible in a small pocket that's going to head into western Boyle County and northern parts of Casey County too. So technically you have that tornado warning that is out as of right now. I know the sirens are going off here into Casey County. I know the sirens are going off into Boyle County. So if your kids, maybe you're home sick today, or maybe you're just home for whatever reason this afternoon. Oh yeah, we're election day. That is right.
Election day. Yep.
We are election day. So we don't have school today. Okay, so scratch that with all the students that are seeking shelter right now. So let's focus this on what we're going to do at home then, kids. I mean, I totally forgot about Election Day because, well, this is kind of taking precedent for us today. But if you're home right now, get to that basement, get to a safe shelter. The idea is to get down to the lowest floor possible, because if you're in a home, you got a second floor home, you got an upstairs, don't go up there. Because as you go up from the ground, higher in the atmosphere, even by 20 feet, 30 feet, 50 feet, winds are going to increase. You get stronger winds as you go up. So this is why we tell you always to get down to that lowest floor possible and get in the basement. That's where you want to be. Mobile homes, get out of there. Do not even attempt it. Go knock on your neighbor's door. Say, hey, look, I got to bring the kids in here for a few minutes until we get through this storm. And they got, you know, a sturdy structure, brick home. Just go knock on their door, make them let you in. And automobiles too. We don't try to outrun tornadoes or storms like this. That's a big no-no. I know you've seen some folks on, you know, social media through the years that have done that and were successful. Then you've seen some folks who weren't successful. We don't want you to be one of those unsuccessful people. Protect your head, put on the batting helmet, put on the bicycle helmet. Bicycle helmet's probably going to be the thing most folks would have, especially the kiddos. Put it on. I don't care how crazy we look. It could actually save your life. So there you go with the warnings that are out. New severe thunderstorm warning looks like is going into Rowan County as well. That is with this storm, which is a shell of its former self now. This storm on top of Owingsville, nowhere near as strong. The lightning with that has decreased. Bath, Fleming, and Rowan, that's going to go until 3:15. That is with our storm that is on top of Owingsville and rolling its way toward the east, and we're going to continue to see that storm making a beeline toward the city of Moorhead and Cave Run Lake. I want to go back into Lexington too, and this storm, there you go. I was going to look at this storm, and now severe thunderstorm warning is out for the city of Richmond. This includes Madison County. Severe thunderstorm warning is out for this part of our storm, because that's a storm that is on its own too. So I want to stop this and look and just go inside this storm and see if we can find any kind of spin. So here's Richmond. Worst of this is going to be just to our north, and that is what I was looking at here. When I see storms that are out on their own like that, first thing I want to do is think, okay, wait a minute, this thing can create its own environment and can have a little spin with it. So this is a bit of rotation to the northwest of Richmond. We do not have a tornado warning that is out on this particular storm as of right now, but I am going to just take our tower cam and kind of look in that general direction. And if we could, upstairs, we could pull up the tower cam just for a moment here. And we'll take a look at the storm that is to the southwest of Lexington. So what we're looking at, we would be looking in this general direction toward Madison County, and we're looking out across the Hamburg Pavilion area. So that's what we're dealing with, is that storm in the distance. Now, granted, it's raining here at the station, so that is essentially cutting down on our visibility very, very quickly, and so we're not going to be able to see as far. But looking at that storm into northern parts of Madison County, we're watching that new tornado warning that has now been extended, Jim. That includes Lincoln County, areas just to the south of Danville. Let's go back to our map and we can show you this. Here's the new tornado warning until 3 o'clock. That is for Boyle County, that is for Casey County, that is for Lincoln County. So that's a extension on this. That will take us until 3 o'clock, top of the hour. This includes areas just to the south of Danville, the Junction City area, down towards Stanford, Houstonville, Lincoln County. In just a matter of seconds now, you're going to hear the tornado sirens going off into Lincoln County, into downtown Stanford, into Houstonville. We've already got the tornado sirens that are going off into northern parts of Casey County. So this now includes a little more of Casey County, includes a little more of Boyle County, as well as this storm continues to roll its way toward the east. And, you know, I'm looking at this, Jim, and we're seeing that very, very abrupt line where you go from no color, no precipitation, to all of a sudden it ramps up here. And again, that is very, very likely damaging winds coming in there, whether or not we have a tornado or not with this storm. And it's going to stay just to the south of Perryville, going to stay just to the south of Danville. This is going to impact areas toward the gravel switch part of the state.
Look at that.
Yeah, we got some spin that is showing up, but this, my goodness, this is likely, if we aren't getting a tornado with this, we're likely to have significant wind damage with this storm that is coming out of Marion County into northern Casey County, into southwestern Boyle County. And if you're watching me right now into Lincoln County, hey, listen, you've got a heads up on this. So now you've got a little time to prepare. Stress the little time. This will be toward Houstonville and Stanford within the next 15 minutes. So this isn't wasting any time at all. But when I'm looking at this particular spin here, Jim, I mean, that is a pocket right here of significant winds that we're seeing that will likely cause a lot of damage on its own. If we aren't getting a tornado with this, it may do some damage similar to a tornado.
At least, as you said, 70, 80 miles per hour, certainly a possibility.
That may be hurricane force winds, easy, coming out of this particular storm that is to the south of Gravel Switch. And this was one of the areas, Jim, I'd noticed that we use that future radar a lot. This was one of the areas yesterday the future radar was picking up on in terms of what looked like a little supercell thunderstorm. Man, that thing just nailed the location and timing of this. So this is rolling to the east with this tornado warning that will go until 3 o'clock now. Areas south of Danville, into Stanford, Lincoln County, Houstonville, and into northern parts of Casey County. And that is likely going to do some damage as it rolls its way to the east, Jim.
Because again, we were looking at inside the storm. We were looking at the winds, and I can't remember the last time I saw colors that bright. And all we're doing is we know that those colors mean that those winds are very strong, embedded within the thunderstorm that again could be producing a tornado. But well, let me tell you, from the evidence I've seen, it's definitely producing some very high winds for sure as that storm continues to move along here. And we're now going to go to another tornado warning, it looks like, that is now out for Madison County.
Okay, and now this is going to be for the folks upstairs. This is going to be on top of where we've got 2 of those traffic cams on the interstate in Madison County. So if we can get those, let me know when you can get those pulled up. So this is Richmond. This is now a tornado warning for Richmond and downtown Richmond toward the Richmond Center, Lake Reba, and north. So this is a small area essentially between Red House and Richmond. This is rolling its way to the east. It's right on top of Interstate 75 in just a couple of minutes, and that is going to continue to head toward the east. So if you're watching us right now, into downtown Richmond on the campus of EKU and north, that is the area where we have that tornado warning. And the radar is saying, yeah, we're seeing the rotation with this. And, we were showing you this 5 minutes ago.
Right.
So we were giving you a heads up before a tornado warning came out that, hey, there's some rotation with this storm. So there is your rotation, and there it is. Jim, that's right on top of the interstate. We got those cams on the interstate.
Very clear.
Pull those, if we got, pull one or both of those up, because they are generally right in this vicinity as of right now. Let's see it. So yeah, blinding rains there. That's I-75 north into Madison County. And if we got the other one, and you can see the visibility isn't quite as bad there, but that is exactly where we are looking at right now for this possible tornado that is crossing Interstate 75 just to the north of downtown Richmond. Jim, let's even zoom in a little closer on this right here, because we can show you where we are. That's 25, which is essentially going parallel to 75 here. So this is where that spin is. This is the Million area. This would be Red House. If you're watching us into Red House, the Hillcrest area, north on the bypass here in Richmond, the northern part of the bypass, seek that shelter and do it now, because this is a possible tornado. And there it moved to the east, Jim. It updated. We can take that wind velocity and push it just a little farther to the east so we keep track of that. And you can see how whatever is out there is now likely showing up on Interstate 75 for that possible tornado. So this is what we are looking at here with the possible tornado. Here's Interstate 75. This is between Lexington and Richmond. And if you got somebody that you know is driving on this particular stretch of 75 right now, give them a call. Don't text them, give them a call. Say, hey, stop, slow down. Give it 5 minutes. Pull off the side of the road. Don't get under an overpass, but pull off the side of the road. And especially if you're just now leaving Lexington or getting ready to leave Richmond northbound, stay there, because this is the possible tornado right here that is coming out of Madison County. So Richmond, between Richmond and Red House, find that safe shelter immediately. So we can show you some of the streets here. That's right on top of 75 here, and that's going to continue to make its way to the east very, very quickly, Jim. And that's a good signature on the radar.
It's about as clear as they come, isn't it?
It's a very strong signature, and that was the storm we pointed out that, man, that's on its own. That can create its own environment. It can start to spin. So we were showing you inside this storm at the rotation before the tornado warning came out, and now we're watching this storm that is rolling its way across the interstate. And now you can see how, Jim, with that last scan, that thing is pushed a little farther to the east now. So it's on the other side of Interstate 75. So this is getting very close to it's right on top of the Boone Trail Road area, and this is going to head toward Red House. Red House into areas of the northern half of Madison County. Find that safe shelter immediately. And that's going to continue to head toward the east. We got areas, it's Peacock Road over there, and going to continue to work across the Red House Boone's Trail Road and rolling its way toward the east. So Jim, we look at that, and that's one of the stronger signatures we've seen for a while around here. On top of Three Forks Road, my goodness, 388 there. You need to be in that shelter.
That's a good small presence of spin. When you see these two colors back to back like this, that's when you can run into a good little solid area where you could be spinning an actual tornado right there north of downtown Richmond. Now that's one thing to consider. You can see the positioning of Madison Central High School, not seeing any of that pass through there, and other locations in the immediate downtown area. There you can see that it gets a little more populated with some of the streets. So the spin is just north of town, and there goes another update, and it's still staying right on track with exactly what we are and have been saying here the last little bit. That is action-packed. So just issued another statement for this particular storm, and just continuing the warning, of course. But again, as it's passed over I-75 here in just the past few minutes, Chris.
Yeah, that spin. You look at that, Jim. It's a very tight signature that we're seeing there, and that is rolling its way just to the north of downtown Richmond. Downtown Richmond, we're going to miss this one, thankfully. We're not going to miss this one, though, around Red House and eventually over toward the Union City area. So you need to be in that safe shelter immediately here in the northern Madison County. Let's go back into this storm, the other tornado warning that we have that goes into Lincoln County. We'll look at this and see what is shaking as of now. And that is still, Jim, I look at that, that's more of a damaging wind signature than a lot of big rotation or a tight rotation with that. And that is right on top of the Casey and Boyle County line and getting ready to cross over and cross into areas of Lincoln County. All right, back to the storm north of Richmond where we have that tornado warning. We got some pictures from my Twitter feed showing up here. Take a look at that, and if you look closely enough on this, you can almost see you can see the inflow coming in that. So Jim, you look at that, we've definitely got a little supercell thunderstorm down there. That's a wall cloud that we're dealing with, and here's a different picture of that as well. And you can see that yeah, we've got a wall cloud, and that is, that's something that is typically present before you get a tornado to touch down. So that is what we're dealing with. That is exit 90 on the interstate into Madison County. So that is what we are dealing with. And by the way, if we got a crew, we need to get them down into Madison County. This is what we're dealing with as of right now into Madison County. And Jim, you look at that, that is a very, very, very pronounced wall cloud that we're dealing with here. So we're looking at this. It's where the base of that cloud is lowered enough. And if we are to get a tornado, and you don't see a funnel with this, you don't see a tornado in any of these pictures, but if we are to get one, having that wall cloud that is out there is certainly a precursor to that. We can go back to the other picture that we have, so you can see how this part of our cloud has lowered here. Let me scoot up just a little bit. So you can see how that part of the cloud is lowered, and if we get more pictures, hey, we'll show them off. But listen, love the pictures, love the videos. Stay safe, okay? No picture, no video of a tornado or severe weather is worth risking your life for. Stay safe. We love all the information we get from you guys. It's life-saving information, but we want to make sure you're safe first and foremost. So we got multiple tornado warnings that are out, 2 tornado warnings, multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. Hey, new severe thunderstorm warning. Whew, man, these things are coming fast and furious now. Severe thunderstorm warning into Russell County, Monticello, Wayne County, southern parts of Pulaski County, northern sections of the McCreary County area, and I see another one that is into what looks like Leslie County, into Perry County, parts of Letcher County, and southwestern Knott County. I think I got all those in there. That is a severe thunderstorm. This is likely a large hail producer.
Big hail, yeah.
Yeah, but again, all of these storms that are on their own like this, in addition to producing large hail, we got to look inside them. Because, Jim, every storm that is out there with the instability across southern Kentucky, the amount of shear available in the atmosphere today, any of these storms can start spinning very, very quickly. Let's go to Richmond. We got some video to share with you. Take a look at this. This is what we're dealing with the storm that is out there. That would be, I think I know that's along the bypass maybe? Yeah, there we go. That is the bypass. And you can see how the back edge of this cloud is lowering here. So that is our wall cloud that is working its way through the Madison County area into Richmond and north of that. That is heading toward Red House and now is east and northeast of Richmond. So downtown Richmond, we're okay, thankfully. Areas northeast of that, not so much. We need to be in those storm shelters right now, and that is what we're dealing with between Red House and Union City. Jim, this thing just keeps on going. I mean, the spin with this is pretty amazing, and when we're looking at the video of the wall cloud that is out there, we know that this, based on the pictures in the video, right now has not produced a tornado, at least when those pictures and videos were taken. But let me tell you something here, okay? Let me tell you guys something. Given the fact that we're seeing that wall cloud, and given the fact that I'm seeing this radar presentation, at any moment, that could drop a tornado into Madison County. Doylesville and down into Union City. Union City, this is right on top of us. And Jim, this is now into eastern Madison County. Hey, National Weather Service in Jackson, you guys control Estill County, which is next door to this. This is going to be into Estill County. Please, let's get the tornado warning out for Estill County as well, because it's going to be there in less than 10 minutes. Let's not wait. Let's get that warning out. Let's give folks in Estill County advance notice that this possible tornado is getting ready to cross out of Madison County and into Estill County. And so that would be the Brookstown Road area where this circulation is. So Doylesville is to the northeast. We're seeing the shear with this. I'm getting the shear.
I'm pulling that up.
Yeah, we're seeing the gate to gate, we call it. And you can see those differing colors here where you've got the reds, where you've got those greens. Now we know what that means, right? That means we've got spin. That is heading toward Union City. If you are in Union City, this is right on top of us right now and heading to these. So hopefully we get this tornado warning extended into Estill County here very, very quickly. And Jim, that may clip the far southern part of Clark County as well. That may clip areas into southern parts of Clark County. Can we pull that up? We got a live video. I believe this is one of our chasers down in Madison County. Yep, this is one of our weather watchers down in this area. So this is a live video as we're following this storm, and that is looking toward the northeast of us. So one of our weather watchers down here, and you can see what we're dealing with here. Don't see any spin with this, but again, if we're where I think we are here into Richmond, we're looking toward the backside of this particular storm. And boy, the rotation within this on radar, folks, is one of the stronger ones we've seen in a while around here. So that's why I'm really kind of ramping this up a little bit and getting those pictures of the shelf or the wall cloud, not a shelf cloud, a wall cloud, which is usually a precursor to a funnel cloud or a tornado. And seeing that rotation on radar, I don't think we've gotten that warning extended into Estill County just yet. Goodness, come on, guys. I mean, let's not waste any time. This is heading into Estill County. If you're in Estill County right now, do me a solid, go ahead and find your safe shelter to be safe. Nothing happens, we're praying nothing happens, we're good to go. But we want to give you advance notice, and that's exactly what we are doing. So severe thunderstorms around Moorhead, possible tornado northeast of Richmond into Madison County, possible tornado heading toward into Lincoln County and far southern parts of the Boyle County area. Though, Jim, I do believe looking at that, they've whittled away Boyle County. So Boyle County no longer in the tornado warning. This is only for Houstonville and Stanford in Lincoln County. That's where we currently have those tornado warnings that are out. So this is going to go for a little while longer. In this storm, it's weaker. Good news, it's weaker. But it's still got some damaging winds. So if you're in Stanford, if you're in Houstonville, and you're up close to the Boyle County line, we're watching this coming through there, but Danville and all of Boyle County, now you're no longer in this tornado warning. We are all clear with the tornado warning into northern parts of Casey County as well, but that is going to continue to work its way toward Stanford, toward Houstonville, likely wind damage. Let's get back here into areas around Richmond and see what is going on, because Jim, you know, and let me just hang on this view for a moment. So look at how there's nothing going on here south of Richmond, likely got some sun. So now we've got an uninterrupted inflow coming into this storm from the south. So you've got clear sailing here. So this is a little supercell thunderstorm. It is extremely small, but it has that spin with it. It has that spin and that rotation, and it is still right there in the middle of this. And this is, Jim, what, 2-3 miles away from Estill County?
Oh yeah, we're closing in on the border as a bird flies. I mean, absolutely.
Come on, Jackson. Let's do this. Let's get that warning out into the northern part of Estill County and maybe over into western sections of Powell County, just to be safe. Because you've got the possible tornado, you've got the rotation showing up on radar, you've got our pictures showing the wall cloud with this. And it's hard to tell in pictures if you got a rotating wall cloud or not, but there's just too much evidence. I assure you, we've issued tornado warnings on much less than this. And that is to the northeast of Richmond, and it's going to continue to work into Estill County here very shortly, maybe clipping far southern parts of Clark County here. Here is Irvin. Jim, let's go in and let's throw some communities coming out of the Estill and Richmond or Madison County line here. Let's go in and let's get some areas here and throw some names out there. So let's hit some folks in their attention. There's this College Hill. Here's the Palmer area that is into Estill County. There is Walters Ridge Road. Need to be in your storm shelter right now with this storm working its way through. So that is, again, rolling its way out of Estill County, rolling its way into Estill County, out of Madison County, and can produce a tornado at any moment. The spin is there. Doesn't mean it's going to produce that tornado, but boy, we're seeing that wall cloud that is showing up on the pictures. And if we have any more pictures or videos coming out of this, just let me know and we'll take a look at it. Let's go to it. Let's take a look at the picture. Picture coming out of, I believe this would be the Madison County area. So this is our storm. You can see some scud clouds that are kind of following the back edge of this storm that would be working this general direction right now. So we're continuing to see that storm. The base of that cloud, Jim, is fairly low to the ground. And, you know, again, you can't see on a still picture or anything that is you know, a good video. You can't really tell if there's rotation with that based on a still picture, obviously.
The good news here, Chris, that they have extended the tornado. It's bad news, but the fact that they put the warning out now, they've got a tornado warning out now for Estill, Lee, and Powell counties. That's going to run out until 3:30, and you know that does include Stanton, that includes Irvin as well. A lot of this is going to pass probably north of Irvin. We know that, but still, it's on the map.
Yeah, if you live between Clay City, Stanton, and Irvin, this is heading in your general direction. Hopefully this thing weakens, but the thing about it, Jim, I'm looking to the south of it, it doesn't have a lot of competition right now. So it's not fighting for energy because there's nothing south of this, so the winds are just continuing to feed into this, and that's that unstable air. And Jim, the worrisome part about this and why we're getting that spin with this, it's right along our warm front.
It is, absolutely.
Warm fronts, I said this yesterday, and I've said it before, warm fronts in a setup like this scare me because I don't like to see them, because that means when thunderstorms hit those warm fronts, it gives them just a little extra nudge to rotate or spin. This is what we're dealing with. Now, Jim, this has broadened out just a little bit compared to what we were looking at a couple of scans ago with this. But this is about to cross out of Madison County and into Estill County. So Madison County, your tornado warning is just about finished with this. But again, that tornado warning is now out for Estill County. It is now out for Powell County as well. And that's going to continue to roll its way quickly toward the east and likely going to stay between Stanton and Irvin for the greatest threat for an actual tornado to touch down. So the spin with this is a little broader, Jim. It's not that tight look that we had a little bit ago. And now we're into, you know, more rural areas of Madison County, getting into Estill County. So I'm not getting quite as many pictures as what we were getting a little bit ago. But folks, as soon as we get some, throw them up there and just tell me where they are. Here's Doylesville. That is working its way through. Here's a picture of the from the Walmart in Madison County in Richmond a little earlier. That's what we were looking at. You can see this is looking toward the northeast, and Jim, you could see how the base of that cloud was in fact lowering. And you know, we may be missing one ingredient to produce an out-and-out tornado. If we are, no complaints. Let's hope and pray that is the case. But the issue is when you see clouds that are lowering, you see that wall cloud and then the rotation on radar. Jim, that's when we really ramp things up to try and get folks' attention.
And I'll tell you, the rotation that you're just talking about with this storm, it has broadened out quite a bit, but in areas, it's still a little more intense. There's some good, strong indications that it's certainly there, indicating that the wind is also a real factor. So saying that we're driving in some strong winds associated with possible tornado. The evidence is overwhelming to see some of the pictures and videos that we've had. And then you look at this image right here that's closing in on College Hill. That certainly suggests that it's still spinning and it could still drop a tornado out of that particular storm cell as it crosses the border and heads on over toward the east and gets you into northern parts of Estill County. I mean, it's still a concerning look, even though it's not as intense as it was a little while ago. Now, we've had numerous other severe thunderstorm warnings go up and other activity as well. I'm going to broaden out and kind of show you what's happening because we don't want to leave anybody behind, because we do have more severe thunderstorm warnings and another tornado warning down in Lincoln County. That has been extended in the form of a severe thunderstorm, so likely going to get replaced.
That's good news. And that new severe thunderstorm includes Berea. So northern part of Madison County with a tornado warning, southern part of Madison County with a severe thunderstorm warning, and in between it hadn't rained a drop.
You're right, it hasn't, and it's going to, but it hasn't as of yet.
Right, yeah. So there you go with that new severe thunderstorm warning. Garrett, Lincoln, Madison, that goes until 3:30. And Jim, I would, looking at the thunderstorm in Lincoln County, I know the sirens are still going off and that warning is technically still out. But I bet we're getting ready to lose that. But if we look inside this, I mean, it's still got a big burst of strong high winds with this, but chances are we're not seeing the rotation with this that we once had. So that's why that the severe thunderstorm warning has now replaced that tornado warning. So Lincoln County and points east, we're now going to be left with a severe thunderstorm warning. Sometimes, though, these storms can kind of cycle all right? So they can have rotation, they can weaken a little bit, it's like they're taking a breath, and then they try to ramp back up. Hopefully that's not the case with this particular storm, but we will watch it nonetheless as it rolls its way to the east. There is your tornado warning that goes from northeastern Madison County. Madison County, in just a few minutes, we're going to get rid of the worst of this storm. Irvin, hey, this is going to stay to our north. Stanton, Clay City, going to be a close call. And points in between, you need to be in your storm shelters immediately. And, you know, when just looking at everything that is ongoing south of Interstate 64 is essential. This is why we called the WKYT First Alert Weather Day, to give you advance notice of the possibility of severe thunderstorms today along and south of 64. And that's what we're dealing with now, with severe thunderstorms and possible tornadoes with this particular warning that continues to be in effect. So there's our spin. Jim, it's still there.
It's certainly there.
It's still there.
Is.
That's, you know, crossing out of Estill, or into Estill County, out of Madison County, crossing the river and heading toward parts of Powell County eventually. Now, here's hoping that this little teeny tiny cell that is up into the Irvin area, northeast of Irvin into Estill County, kind of merges with that and just disrupts everything. That's what we hope happens. Take a look at some more pictures out of Madison County. All right, this is the Moberly area. What we're dealing with, boy, Jim, you see that? That's a little supercell thunderstorm, isn't it?
Oh, now I see it. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Absolutely, yes.
That is, and there's a little different view of this, and I think this is a video that we are looking at here. So you can see our supercell thunderstorm with our wall cloud right here. Now, whether or not, again, that thing is spinning, hard to tell on that particular video, but you're seeing a wall cloud and you're seeing the circulation with that on the radar. And I mean, Jim, you know, we've had tornado warnings issued for a whole lot less.
That's got an impressive look, and unfortunately,
small storm too,
very small, and we've got trees in the way.
Yeah.
So you know, it's hard to see the full dynamics there of what's happening around that storm, but certainly a concerning look, like some of the others that we've been seeing. They've been consistent showing that wall cloud, showing it in and around that area. So again, we could be dealing with something that is dropping or about to drop out of the sky on these people there in northeastern parts of Madison County, and then heading over into Estill County as well. Mainly north of Irvin. That's where the spin is located. You can see, as I open it up again, right there in the middle is where you find it, right in the middle of the crosshairs. That's where we have the spin showing up, so likely passing north of Irvin. But you're right, it could be right on track for Clay City and Stanton as it moves on over into Powell County.
And good news, Jim, Lincoln County tornado warning is no more.
Right, gone.
So we're going to hear the siren shutting off. You guys can come out of your safe places. The only tornado warning we have right now is with this particular cell, and that is into Estill County. It is into part of Powell County and just a small sliver of Lee County. But the majority of this is likely to stay between, the worst of this storm, between Stanton, Clay City, and Irvin. So that's essentially into the northern part of Estill County and southwestern parts of Powell County. Here's the spin that we're looking at. It's not quite as pronounced as a little bit ago, 15, 20 minutes or so ago, but it is also not as broad as the last scan a couple of minutes ago. So we're continuing to see this storm trying to cycle back up. And you know, Jim, when I look on the north side of this little white area is the radar saying, hey, we're likely getting some large hail with this. I would bet in a narrow corridor here, we are getting in on some extremely large hail with this storm as it makes its way from Madison County and into Estill County as of now.
No doubt about it.
Extreme southern part of Clark County may get in on some of that as well.
And the thing is, this time of year, these, for us in Kentucky especially, hail producers are a little more active, and because of the way the atmosphere is set up this time of year.
Another picture out of Madison County from the looking toward Waco. So this is what we were dealing with. And again, you know, kind of hard to see. We've got some structures there, but that was part of the same supercell thunderstorm. And that's what we're dealing with. This is a teeny tiny, small little supercell thunderstorm that is working its way north of 52 coming out of Madison County. Madison County, hey, look, this storm is now into Estill County. So our tornado warning that was out for just a small sliver of northeastern parts of Madison County, we can go ahead and sound the all clear on that one. But again, this is now coming into areas of Estill County. We can go back to the radar picture where we're seeing the lightning now trying to increase again, Jim, and this storm may have done a little cycling just over the past 5-10 minutes or so. So we're seeing it trying to pulse back up, and where you see those intense colors, likely large hail with this. Likely some large hail right on top of Palmer. Palmer, we were sending you guys to your basement about 10-15 minutes or so ago, because we said this storm was coming in your direction, and there it is. The Kimbrell area, this would be Stanton, Clay City area. That's the Mountain Parkway right here that we're talking about. Spout Springs, this would be the Hargett area. It's coming right into the area to the southwest of Clay City. So these are the regions along 82. We're going to talk about and throw some names out here. That would be the Burton Williams Road, the Lily Ferry Road, Spout Springs, Jackson Road. If we just called your name and you're in that vicinity, Hargett Road area, you need to be in your basements right now. Again, we have not had a confirmed tornado with this, but based on radar, based on the pictures we're getting, that thing can spit out a tornado very, very quickly. It just needs one more little ingredient to do just that. Here's hoping it does not find it. But our job is to protect you, because it could find it at any moment. And Jim, this, again, man, I'm amazed at how small this is and how intense it is. This is a true supercell thunderstorm.
The way it kind of weakened there for a little bit and how it's pulsed back up again is very impressive, but that's just the state of the atmosphere out there. It's so unstable. This is reaching into places that weren't worked over a little bit earlier today with some of the early morning showers. They had a little time to destabilize, and we're right back in the hunt with some of these thunderstorms that could be just this strong. And you see a whole bunch of others that are out there, but that one there, it really is the most significant one in really the entire Commonwealth at this point. That one in Lincoln County still producing some very strong winds, but it's that one in Madison County heading into Estill County that has the most intense wind with it, the heaviest rain, and the possibility of tornadic activity. It's still embedded within that, and now it's clipping through northern parts of Estill County. Again, if you're in Irvin, you're technically in the warning, but it is not on top of you. It is to the north of you, and will likely stay on that track headed toward the Mountain Parkway in Powell County, Chris, and right toward Clay City, Stanton areas, just to name a couple of very familiar spots for folks. Also, if you happen to lose power here within the next little bit, if something happens and you're out there, that QR code right there on the screen with Chris, you see it down there. Go over and take your phone, open up the camera feature. It will automatically send you to the right place. Or you got to click something, but it'll send you to where you can download our weather app. And when you lose power, you lose us, you can find us on the app, and you can find the radar, and you can keep up that way.
And you should be able to watch us live as well. And, you know, Facebook Live, I would hope we're on there, and everything else as of right now. But this is your severe thunderstorm that is likely producing a tornado into the northern part of Estill County. It is rolling its way toward the east. The amount of lightning with this is picking up the pace a little bit. This is focused farther to the north just a little bit. Irvin, we're okay. We're in the tornado warning, but we're okay. And I was looking at dew point temperature from a site that is out here just south of this. 71-degree dew point temperature. And for most folks, they're thinking, what the heck's a dew point temperature? It's one of the ways we measure the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. If it's above 65, it's muggy. If it's above 70, it's tropical. So now we've got tropical air being pulled into these thunderstorms. So we're just kind of aiding in the instability. So that 71 dew point, that's just me saying, hey folks, the atmosphere is primed for additional severe thunderstorms. And we're looking at this, and Jim, that rotation, it is still there, but we've broadened it out a little bit.
It's not like it was. It was very tight earlier, if you remember, in a smaller area, which is a good sign that there's a possible tornado on the ground, of course.
And it's right on top of 89, and in about, 3-4 miles from there, that's going to be crossing out of Estill County and into southwestern parts of Powell County. And once it gets into Powell County, in just a matter of 5-10 minutes, that thing's going to be on top of the Mountain Parkway from Clay City to Stanton. I know, a lot of folks travel up and down the Mountain Parkway, obviously, and one of the destinations, it's kind of the halfway point between Lexington and Eastern Kentucky, would be Stanton, Clay City. You stop there, you take a little bathroom break or whatever. But this is going to be the area where this storm is heading toward right now, into Stanton, into Clay City. And when you see those bright colors on there, that is the radar telling us that we've got a lot of likely large hail in addition to torrential rains with this storm working toward Hargett, Spout Springs, Vaughn's Mill, Clay City. This is the Mountain Parkway, Stanton, Clay City. And Jim, it's interesting to note this is on the northern edge of this, so it's focused a little farther north, and I would imagine it's running toward that warm front. So that warm front, it's not going to be just a straight line. It's going to be kind of zigzagging across the I-64 corridor. Severe thunderstorm warning for the teeny tiniest spot here into southern parts of Clark County with that. So that's how far to the north this thing is coming right now. So it's a little farther north of what we were seeing 30 minutes or so ago. So the track on this has focused more toward Clay City and Stanton. It's leaving us alone in Irvin. North Irvin, yeah, we got some rain. It is not coming from this supercell thunderstorm. And again, if we're going to get that tornado, it's going to be between Fox and Hargett. New tornado warning I see plotting on that, Jim.
Yep,
is that right?
You do.
All right, so this tornado warning has now been extended into additional parts of Powell County. That would be toward eastern parts of Powell County, Estill County, Lee County, far northern parts, although Lee County, I think we're okay. But what they're banking on, Jim, with the orientation of these warnings is for this thing to start to track toward the southeast.
That's what they're tracking. That's what they're thinking.
But as of now, this thing has been holding on the northern edge of that. At some point, this thing will try and dive toward the southeast, toward the best instability. It's just not doing it just yet. And again, if we could put sensors in every part of the state, we would know exactly where that warm front is. Well, we don't have sensors in every part of the state right now, so we do our best to kind of fill in the gaps. But this is a supercell thunderstorm that is likely producing large hail and a possible tornado as it heads into Powell County and the Mountain Parkway. So if you got some loved ones who are getting ready to travel on the Mountain Parkway, maybe coming out of Clark County and going to head into Powell County, give them a call right now and say, hey, just pull off somewhere on the side of the road, wait till that storm crosses the Mountain Parkway. Or conversely, if you got somebody coming up the Mountain Parkway out of Campton, out of Salyersville, heading toward the Red River Gorge area, tell them just go ahead and pull off there, wait till the storm as it makes its way across Powell County, because it is containing some large hail and a possible tornado as well. And that again is a new tornado warning that is out. Jim, they haven't taken this warning down for eastern Madison County as of yet.
They haven't whittled it away, not yet. But they're in the clear, of course.
Yeah, storm's not even in Madison County anymore, so we're in the clear. Let's go into southern Fayette County. Storm just catching my attention with just kind of ramped up a little bit. That one is right on top of the Athens-Boonesboro area of southern parts of Fayette County. We can stop that radar. That's likely a large hail producing thunderstorm and may have some damaging winds with it very, very quickly. We'll give it a quick look over inside just to see what we're dealing with. Jacobson Park, it's on Richmond Road, and you get down toward the Athens-Boonesboro exit, and of course along the interstate. Nothing near the Clays Ferry area. So we're looking in that, not seeing spin as of right now, which is a good thing. But that's a storm that is increasing right now, so that just kind of caught my attention out of the corner of the screen while we're focusing on the tornado warning that is currently out into areas of eastern Kentucky. Severe thunderstorm warnings, let's try and recap everything that is going on. So we've got a whole bunch of warnings down here into southern Kentucky. I'm going to watch that storm north of Greenmount, and that is into southern parts of Jackson County. Severe thunderstorm warning, Jackson and Rockcastle. We got severe thunderstorm warnings into Berea, into areas of southern parts of Garrett County, into the Waynesburg area of Lincoln County. And those warnings go back toward the southwest, getting close to Lake Cumberland. That little lobe that we're dealing with there, that's got some big wind with it. That is heading into the northern part of Russell County, coming out of Columbia, Adair County. So folks, Russell Springs and Jamestown and just to our north, that may be damaging winds that are heading into that particular area. And look at all the thunderstorms that are going up out ahead of this too. I mean, this is one of those events to where, Jim, we're playing whack-a-mole now with some of these storms. Let's go into this particular part of the world and we'll show you what is going on with this. We'll look and see if we can find any kind of spin with this, because we almost have to give these a live MRI on air for you guys to see, or else we don't know what's going on inside them. So we're looking at this, nothing that is overly concerning as of right now. So that is certainly some welcome news with that particular part of the storm. Now farther to the east, there's a little thunderstorm that's out on its own in the northern parts of Wayne County, along 27 coming out of the Somerset area. So on the Pulaski-Wayne County line, additional thunderstorms are to the north and northeast of that, where you've got the possibility of severe thunderstorms too. And let's just look inside this, Jim. Let's just take and go and look at the winds inside this particular line. No spin that is showing up here into Garrett County, Madison County, or Rockcastle County. So that is welcome news with that one. All right, let's go back into Esther County, because that is the big dog on the weather radar as of right now. That is where we have that severe thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado, your tornado warning that is out. New video, new picture. What do we got? There we go. And where's this? This is the Waco area. So you can see this was from a little bit ago. This was over into Madison County, and this was our supercell thunderstorm that had the tornado warning into Madison County with it. That's what it looked like as it passed its way through the Waco area. I mean, it's a small supercell thunderstorm, but it is a thunderstorm nonetheless that is rotating, and it is now off to the east of us into Estill County. So Madison County, with this storm, we're all clear. Watching two other thunderstorms, though, that are going to impact us. So we can go back to the radar picture, show you what we are dealing with now into the Madison County area. There's your warning. That should just go ahead and be canceled. That storm is out of here. Jim, that's some big hail. Kimbrell towards Spout Springs, that is on top of the Estill, Clark, and Powell County line. And again, this storm is staying on the northern end of where we've got the tornado warning. So Spout Springs over toward the Highway 82 corridor. That thing is just going to roll its way to the east, and Clay City is going to be in the line of fire from this, Jim, in just a matter of a couple of minutes.
You can see it right there on the map. It's in the northeast. It is in the northeast, but it's also in your right corner. You can see Clay City, and that's where this intense part of the thunderstorm is headed. It might split the difference here. It could be, and getting reports of hail in Clay City as well. I'm going to look inside this one again, just to see where the spin is located. And there it is, where you're seeing the red and the green back to back here. You've got a good little indication of that. That would be to the south and west. There you go. Yeah, the south and west of Clay City right now.
Yeah, and so again, Clay City, here's the Mountain Parkway right here. So Mountain Parkway, this is getting ready to cross over top of us, crossing into Clay City momentarily within a matter of minutes. So again, that warning continues to be oriented northwest to southeast, but the storm says, I'm not ready to turn southeast yet. It is staying on the northern side of that warning. So this thing is now, it's bowling its way almost due east. And if anything, it's been a little north of east over the past 10, 15 minutes or so. Here's Clay City. Here is Stanton. This is the Mountain Parkway into Powell County. And here is our rotation right here. And where the radar is showing us the white, some people say, is that snow? No, this is the radar saying, hey man, on the northern side of this, I see a lot of large hail. And that's what we are dealing with as of now. And with supercell thunderstorms, you're typically going to see some big time hail with that. And you see that, just update. So we got the worst of this storm between Clay City and Stanton, Jim, as of right now. So Clay City, hang in there, batten down the hatches. You guys need to be in your storm shelter. Stanton as well. We need to be in that basement. The idea is to put as many walls between where we are and the outside as is possible. Okay, so it's election day. Kids are home. Kids are seeking shelter right now. We're probably a little scared. We go through my spiel. Guys, we're going to get through this. We're going to be okay. We just got to follow the safety plans, okay? So right now, if you haven't found that shelter, turn us up, turn the TV up way, way, way loud, and go find that shelter. Just listen to what we're telling you to do. You go find that shelter, a bathroom, a closet, lowest level. You want to get to the middle part of your home. Put as many walls between where you are and the outside as possible. These are the drills we went through back in school in March, okay? And that was at school, but the same principle applies for us at home. So we're going to cover our head. If you got a bicycle helmet, put it on. You got a batting helmet, put it on. Football helmet. How about Dad's old hard hat, or just an old hard hat that Mom may have, anybody has. Put it on. We're going to get through this. We're going to be okay, but we're just going to take those precautions right now to stay safe. And then as soon as we can sound the all clear for where you are, then we can breathe a sigh of relief. But right now, take us with you and find that shelter. But this is the only tornado warning that is left across central or eastern Kentucky. I don't think it's going to be our last, Jim, based on 70-degree dew points, instability, warm front, low pressure, cold front, triple point. Where those three meet along and south of that is where you can get the worst of the weather. You get the spin to show up. That's what we're seeing as of now. So we're working on our 5th tornado warning, I believe. I mean, some of that obviously have been an extension, but still it's our 5th different tornado warning of the past couple of hours.
And you can see it's been moving, basically due east.
Yeah.
It's been doing that. It's been hanging out on that particular track this entire time. I'm just kind of giving you a slow version of it. I've slowed down the radar and backing it up, but it stays right on track with that and heading off toward the east.
40 miles an hour, moving east at 40.
And around 40. So that tells you that it's moving along. We've seen stronger ones, we've seen faster ones, but this one has certainly got our attention right now with the intensity and the fact that we got the report of hail, and let me tell you, that hail core is significant right there.
And look where it's following. Jim, we're looking at something off camera here, but you can see the low pressure is essentially on top of Madison County.
Right there.
And the warm front is what we're seeing with this particular part of the storm. I'm going to show folks at home what we are looking at here. So our low pressure with this storm is essentially right here, right now. And we're seeing that warm front that is draped to the east of that, and that is what this particular storm is following. It is following that warm front. And that's the concern. It's riding that warm front, Jim, and it hits that warm front and it starts to spin a little bit.
And that's exactly what's happening, as it rides right along that, which is essentially along Mountain Parkway.
Yeah,
and that's where it's headed to. I mean, it's straight forward here as it moves off to the east at, like you said, around 40 miles per hour with that storm.
And you see that line of thunderstorms going all the way into southern Kentucky. Here's that strong thunderstorm. I was about to call it a severe thunderstorm, but no warning that is out for that as of right now. But we're going to go inside and take a little look and see what we're dealing with on the south side of Lexington. No spin, but likely producing torrential rain, large hail with that particular storm here into southern Fayette County. That is making for a little bit of some ugly travel weather right on top of Athens, Boonesboro, Locust Grove, and you folks over into Clark County. Jim, that is heading right into the western and southwestern parts of Clark County right now. May have some at least pea-sized hail with that.
That's a good possibility because you see that hail core showing up strong and clear on the map. Now the same thing's happening down there around Clay City. The hail core passing right over the Mountain Parkway, and you're also getting in on that spin, which is near Clay City right now.
Yeah, it is, and you could see it very well here between Vaughn's Mill, Clay City, Mountain Parkway, and again, this is splitting the difference a little bit. It is more centered toward Clay City than Stanton, but that spin is fairly broad, but it's been amazing to watch how this has been holding together. And this is going to head toward Stanton here in the next little bit, and there's the updated view of this. So it's a broad spin that we're looking at, but enough to keep that tornado warning going. And watching this playing out on the north side of that warning, it is yet to make that southeast turn. There is zero chance this storm is going to head toward Lee County. Even though you have that tornado warning, and down into southern parts of Estill County. There is zero chance this is going to head into those areas. This has a better chance now, Jim, of heading toward the northeastern part of Powell County and maybe over toward Menifee County if it can hold together before it starts that southeast return. Interesting to note, got almost a little spin trying to show up here on the south side of this as well. So this spin is weakened a little bit. This spin has at least tried to flare up a little bit. This is down into the Red River Gorge area, or getting closer to the Red River Gorge area along and south of the Mountain Parkway. If we've got any more pictures or videos coming out of this part of the world, nothing as of yet. And we're dealing with this storm, getting reports of some trees down in Lincoln County. That would be from the other line of some thunderstorms. Now, the radar decreased this just a little bit as we bounced it back out. Good news there. Hopefully this thing has run its course. Fingers crossed on that. No reports of a tornado, but at any moment this thing could easily still spit out a tornado. Severe thunderstorm warnings are still back to the west and southwest of us. This stuff is racing off to the east, and now we've got those severe thunderstorm warnings that are out into London, into Somerset, and the line itself, Jim, is almost trying to become oriented west to east here on this back edge of this. So we'll watch for some very heavy rain here into Pulaski County, Russell County area. Watch those streets or those creeks and streams. May have some quick rises on those. Severe thunderstorm out of Letcher County, Harlan County. That's going to roll into Virginia very shortly. Additional thunderstorms are going up on the Mountain Parkway, but that tornado warning goes for just a few more minutes, and we'll see if that gets extended a little deeper. Hopefully the weakening trend continues, but look at the uptick in the lightning with this storm between Lexington and Richmond, and also here into areas around Berea and Southwest. Increase in lightning is usually a good sign that a thunderstorm is strengthening and getting closer to severe. We know increase in lightning means it's stronger. Yes, we're saying it's likely getting it closer to severe limits. And when I see this, damaging wind threat is likely. So we've had some trees reported down into Lincoln County. So this is the Berea area toward Conway, Rockcastle County, and that'll get down toward Mount Vernon, and then arcing its way toward McKee, Anvil, into Jackson County, maybe southern parts of Estill County. And those storms lining up here from Burning Springs into Clay County, north of the Greenmount area, into Laurel County, and then back into areas of Pulaski County. So all kinds of thunderstorms for us to track this afternoon, with the tornado warning that goes for just a little while longer for areas of essentially Powell County. I mean, this is one of those to where it's more Powell County than anything else at this point, Jim, and I think it's entirely into Powell County. Doesn't mean it can't get back into northeastern sections of Estill County, but this storm, based purely on radar, buddy, has weakened just a little bit.
It has. The lightning counts down, the intensity. You can see the hail cores starting to shrink. So yeah, it's not as strong as it once was. What we're going to do again is kind of peek inside it, and you can see around Stanton you've got a broader circulation. And again, we're pointing it out for you. We're looking at it. It's not like it was earlier, but I'm like you. That one down there along 213, that has some interesting.
It does. Yeah, that one's flared up. And I know for the folks upstairs, there's a camera on the Mountain Parkway near Slade that we can get to in Powell County, and we'll pull that one up because that is going to be in the line of fire. That's where this storm is heading. Slade, if you've ever been on the Mountain Parkway, when you come down that big hill, let's take that camera view anyway, because I want to show you what we're looking at here. And the storm hasn't gotten to this particular point as of yet, but Jim, it holds together. This is going to head towards Slade and eventually getting into the Red River Gorge area, the Natural Bridge State Resort Park, where they had just a lot of wind damage like everybody else did from those storms a little earlier.
And we do have an extension on the tornado warning, Chris. Goes now to 4:15 for Breathitt, Estill, Lee, Menifee, Powell, and Wolfe County. So goes right through the heart of Wolfe County as far as the warning is concerned. It's still trying to, they're still trying to pull with the way they're drawing the warning a little to the southeast. I still haven't seen a southeast.
True southeast turn.
No,
yeah.
I
haven't. You know, hopefully it's going to here shortly. And with that low diving from northwest to southeast, I would imagine we're eventually going to get this thing to turn toward the southeast. And it's just a matter of it's being stubborn right now.
In fact, you're right. It just hasn't broken away from that main path yet that it's been on here for the last little bit. But there's your new active warning. So if you're in Campton, be prepared, because that's headed right in your general direction if you're anywhere there in far western sections of Wolfe County, and also throughout eastern sections of Powell County. It's on the way.
Yeah, and that is, and there's that. And again, Jim, the original spin that was up towards Stanton has weakened, and now we've got a different spin that is taking shape on the southern edge of this. So we had a little competition to see which one was going to take hold. That is to the north of Pilot, to the north of Fitchburg, and that is into now southern parts of Powell County. That is the Bowen area. This is south of the Mountain Parkway. So this little supercell thunderstorm just keeps cycling. I mean, it weakens for a little bit, and then it just starts to spin again. So it's almost like it relaxes, and then it swells back up, takes a breath. And that's what we're seeing here as it works its way on the southern edge. So now what's happened, Jim, is the fact that we're losing that circulation on the northern side, because that was running into the cooler, less or more stable air. There's more instability on the southern side of this storm. So now we're seeing the storm maybe developing more toward the south, because a thunderstorm along a warm front like this is going to run toward the instability. It's going to try and seek that out, because it's its life source. So that's what it's doing. So here's that spin just to the east of the Knowlton area. Here is Slade on the Mountain Parkway, where we have that traffic cam that we're going to pull back up for you in just a little bit, because this storm's going to get awfully close to that. This is Pilot, and I believe that is right on the Estill County line. So this spin is working across the southern side of Powell County, and likely getting some large hail now from Bowen back towards Stanton and the Vaughn's Mill area. So we're on the northern side of that, and we're looping this just to show how that storm, Jim, the southern edge of this, where there's greater instability, and it's amazing to watch the structure of this storm kind of focus more on the southern side of the cell in the past 10 minutes.
And I was checking to see if it had that southeastern turn too, and in the last few frames you could see that circulation was trying to drop a little bit. So,
yeah.
So that's why the warning has been extended in that direction.
And this is Pilot, so this is what we're dealing with here. This would be the couplet. This would be winds in the red that are going in an opposite direction than the winds in the green. So this is where we've got that spin that is ongoing right now. That is near 213. That's going to roll its way into Slade along the Mountain Parkway, and eventually northwestern parts of Wolfe County. So on the Mountain Parkway and just south, Jim, is now where we're focusing on the greatest threat for a possible tornado.
As it continues to plow through that area, and
that's the Rogers area, and for folks down there, Natural Bridge, Red River Gorge, very popular destination for a lot of people. So you're going to know some of those areas,
especially on a day like today. When they had some nice weather in between.
Severe thunderstorm warning into Madison County now, with that cell coming out of the south side of Lexington. So we just got a severe thunderstorm warning again for Madison County, and we've got a camera the radar pulled up on that. Actually, that is for the south side around Berea with that. So that's what we're dealing with. That was for southern parts of Madison County around Berea with that severe thunderstorm warning that is out. We'll look inside that northeast of Berea. We'll see, because that is right along and ahead of the surface low, and that severe thunderstorm warning was just expanded to the southeast. That is a lot of real estate, folks, that are under severe thunderstorm warnings as of right now. Watching this whole thing develop with additional thunderstorms out ahead of this. Now, if you're looking for a bit of good news, in 2 hours, most of this stuff is just about out of Kentucky. That's 2 hours. I know it's election day. Polls will be closing in, 2.5 hours. And here we are tracking all kinds of severe weather. Jim, we've been at this a couple of times, a couple years between us. We won't tell how many, but we've been at this a few times, and I can't think of any too many election days where we've actually had tornado warnings at the same time.
I can think of an active one in 2001 or 2000. Yeah, just 2001. Yeah, we had one that was pretty active.
You're dating us, pal.
Yeah, you're right. I am. But right now, it's just all about these storms with at least 70-mile-per-hour winds, Chris, and even the possibility of that tornado.
Yeah, that's right. That's the tornado warning that is out that goes toward Campton, right along and just south of the Mountain Parkway, coming out of Powell County into Wolfe County. You need to be in your safe shelter. Some more pictures to share with you. This is from the North Irvin area, and we're looking toward that storm on the Powell and Estill County line. So that's the same supercell thunderstorm, Jim, we have been tracking for a while now. And, you know, and again, folks have been giving us some fantastic views of this. We love your pictures. We love your dedication. And you guys, and the pictures and videos you do get can save lives. But here's the bottom line. Folks, don't put yourself in any danger or any harm out there. Last thing we want is for you to get hurt in any form or fashion. That defeats the whole purpose of what we're doing. While yes, we love the pictures, we love the videos, only get those to us if you can get a safe picture and you're not going to put yourself in harm's way.
And again, just kind of backing up what he's saying, in case you happen to lose power here in the next little bit, again, I know you see that little code on the screen, and want to point out how easy it is to go and grab our app, and that app could come in very handy if you lose us here on television. That you see the little QR code, that little funny looking thing on the bottom left-hand bottom left-hand side of the screen there. You see it there. You take your phone, pull up the camera, walk over to it, scan it from afar maybe. Sometimes it'll pick up even if you zoom in, and it'll take you and give you the directions on how to download our app, whether it be the Google Play Store or in the App Store for Apple, and you can get the radar, you can get all this other stuff. Again, just a tool to have if they happen to lose us, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I do my best Vanna White here. There you go. You just put your camera up to that. Boom, you're gonna find yourselves on our WKYT weather app. Jim, looking inside this storm, that rotation, it's broadened again. So is this the time we finally see this fall apart and no longer tighten up? A few minutes later, let's hope so, but that is a little broader view. But again, it is more diffuse. Yeah, you're seeing some pockets in there, but I'm looking at this overall structure and seeing it more strung out now. Maybe it's encountering now atmosphere that has been a little worked over with some showers and thunderstorms to the south of that. So let's hope that that is certainly the case. And then that little teeny tiny spot continues to show up here into the southeastern parts of Powell County. I think we had a video out of Estill County with this same storm when it passed through there just a little bit ago. Take a look at this video out of Estill County, and that was of the same supercell thunderstorm. And you know, we're looking at that, and you're seeing that supercell. And this is from behind, Jim, looking at the storm going away from the vantage point of the camera.
Yeah, so we're looking at it from that backside right now.
Yeah.
So, again, trees are in the way. There might be some other things going on, but it's hard to make a decision. But you can see that there's certainly an indication that it's spinning, though.
Yeah, and and we look at this, and you look at those pictures and videos, and how many times have we said, boy, it's hard to see because of trees or a little hill or whatever. This is why you don't see a lot of storm chasers in Kentucky.
Right.
Because you don't get the flat view like what you get out to our west. So you got a little hilly terrain, and not only do you not get a good view, it can be a little dangerous too because you can't see exactly what may be up and around the bend until you're right up on it. But here the lightning is back to intensifying with this storm from Stanton heading toward Campton and Wolfe County. Wolfe County, extreme southern parts of Menifee County, that is heading in your general direction as of right now. If you're in the city of Campton, a lot of good folks here in Wolfe County are likely scared right now. We don't get too many tornado warnings in this particular part of the state. Go ahead and seek that safe shelter. You got about 7-8 minutes before this storm gets into downtown Campton, coming in from the northwest. And again, this is hugging the northern side of this particular tornado warning. It is right on top of the Mountain Parkway. If we got that camera view from the Mountain Parkway, we can pull that one up again. This is out of Slade into northern section or the eastern part of Powell County. And that storm is right on top of this area and getting ready to blow through there. So in a matter of minutes, we may see the visibility coming way, way down on this particular view. But back to the radar. This is, let me show you where this camera is on the Mountain Parkway. So the Mountain Parkway is right here. This is Slade into Powell County. So the worst of this storm is just to the west of us, and that is toward High Rock Road, and then here's Slade, Skylift Road. Gee, wonder what we're talking about there, Jim. That's now we're getting into the Red River Gorge. We're getting into the Natural Bridge area, and that's what we're talking about. You know, in this part of the state, where they just a month ago, 6 weeks ago, had that devastating forest fire. I guess it was a month or so ago, back in early and mid-April, that devastated parts of the Natural Bridge area. Pine Ridge down into the Mountain Parkway. That is where this storm is currently heading, and it is working its way into Wolfe County out of the Powell County area. And I see that a updated tornado warning that is out, that I don't think this expanded it any deeper. It does go, by the way, into extreme northwestern parts of Breathitt County as well. And this storm is on top of the Mountain Parkway and just to the south of that, Jim. But the Mountain Parkway here, coming out of Powell County and into Wolfe County, dives more southeast than what this storm is doing. So we're getting little mini fights going on for some circulation within that. So that circulation that we're looking at is almost strung out here. So you can see we don't want it to consolidate, but if you're looking for a tornado with this, you would be looking at the greens and the reds perfectly up against one another and a nice couplet forming. But instead, we're seeing this strung out here. You got a little hot spot here, a little hot spot here, one to the south of us. So this may be a series of where the storm embedded within that, you got some spins that are fighting with one another. Let them fight it out, because you know what that means? That means one of those spins doesn't win. So that you got competition. And that just disrupts the overall flow, but not enough for this tornado warning to be let go anytime soon. That goes to Hazel Green and gets into northern parts of Breathitt County. Campton, about 5 minutes now before this storm is on top of you, with the possibility of a weak tornado, damaging winds, and some large hail. This is working its way toward the east and southeast. Power outages across the state. Let's see what we're dealing with as of right now, where we've got about 2,500, and you can see Rockcastle County, 2,500 in Rockcastle County are currently without power. That's not just people; those are customers without power into Rockcastle County. A storm, Jim, down there hit one of the substations in Broadhead pretty good, and I would bet we're going to see some more power outages with wind and likely from lightning too.
Well, you had those winds going through, you know, a radar estimate, 60, 70, 80 miles per hour is a possibility. So, I mean, you're going to have some real issues. 4,900 customers in the state, it sounds like that, and you can see a little bit of a string of counties there where the outages are now being reported. So, and I imagine these will grow here very soon. We're just not reaching that point as of yet to where we see the widespread stuff come into, at least the reports of it, Chris.
Yeah, and with the thunderstorms now heading into southeastern Kentucky, and they are scooting along, Jim, between 40 and 50 miles an hour. If you're watching us in Richmond, into Danville, Lexington, Frankfort, Georgetown, you're all good. We're done. The severe threat is over for us. It is not over for our friends and neighbors across the south and the southeast. And we're watching these storms that are even popping out ahead of the main line that are heading toward Buckhorn into Perry County. Those have severe thunderstorm warnings with those. Likely, you look at these small cells like that, and you can literally look at that, Jim, and see quarter-size hail coming from it.
Easy. Yeah. That's what it is. It's got a good hail core in it again, so you're going to be talking about at least that kind of hail, and that's what causes damage. You get to that size, and you start running into some real issues. And that's been the case with this other cell that's been tornado warned for a while as well.
Yeah.
To have that strong signature.
That goes back to when, Jim, this is the storm that about an hour and a half ago, we looked inside that storm before there was any kind of warning with it. And we said there's rotation with this storm, that it was a supercell thunderstorm developing northwest of Richmond. And since then, we've had tornado warning constantly with that for more than well over an hour now. And it's still going.
Continue. That's the thing. You know, we're at 341 right now, still going with this cell. And the warning itself goes all the way out until 4:15. So, and again, you see the counties that are all included in on that. Small sections of Menifee County, but could still, get up there and cause some issues.
Let's take our Mountain Parkway cam that is near Slade, and now the rains are hitting it. And if you look closely here, you can see the trees that are kind of swaying here. You see the leaves that are going a little crazy. So that is with the core of the storm that is on top of Slade, right on top of the Mountain Parkway here into Powell County, cruising into northwestern parts of Wolfe County. Mountain Parkway here, here's Slade. This is where the camera is, by the way. And the hell core with this is passing over Slade and heading into the western parts of Wolfe County, where you should be in your storm shelters now. If you're in a mobile home, you need to get out of there. As I said earlier, just go knock on your neighbor's door that may have a sturdy structure. They're in a home, brick home or whatever. Say, hey, me and the kids, we need to crash here for about 30 minutes. And they'll let you in, hopefully, and everybody will be okay with this. But we get out of mobile homes in a setup like this. I think we had some video out of, or some pictures out of Pulaski County, where we've got some damage coming out of Pulaski County, or this showing what looks like a shelf cloud and out of Pulaski County. And Jim, that's what folks down there are dealing with. It's not the wall cloud that we were seeing with this supercell thunderstorm, but that is what you're seeing here with this line is more typical of what you get on the leading edge of a squall line of severe thunderstorms.
That's exactly what you get, that push of sudden burst of wind. That's what leads the way when you get to those particular situations. So that's how they vary compared to the wall cloud and the shelf cloud. That's the big difference. So don't get those confused, and a lot of people do, and rightfully so. I mean, there's a lot to have to try to grasp, but that's exactly what we're looking at in that view. So I imagine a lot of folks experiencing that out there with those very strong straight line winds that were driving some of these thunderstorms out there a little while ago.
Let's take a look at the active warnings that are out, and this is for the entire area. So you see the yellow, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. We got the one tornado warning that is out along the Mountain Parkway into Powell County, far northeastern parts of Lee County, Wolfe County, and a small sliver of northern sections of Breathitt County as we continue to watch those storms that are racing their way from east to west. And the greatest instability now is along and south of the Mountain Parkway. So that low pressure rolling through the area, and in doing so is taking a southern track on this. And Jim, we highlighted areas south of the mountain or the I-64 corridor today for the greatest severe weather threat. And so far, that's exactly what we have been seeing, and we continue to see with these storms that are out there into southeastern Kentucky. New severe thunderstorm warning, southern Laurel County into northern parts of Whitley County and northwestern sections of Knox County. So severe thunderstorm warnings are out ahead of this. New severe thunderstorm warning popping in with a cell that's out on its own. Breathitt County, Magoffin County, Floyd County. That's southern Magoffin into western parts of Floyd County. So again, 1 to 2 more hours. The majority of these storms, Jim, are just about out of the Commonwealth. So we're seeing these moving along very, very quickly. That's the good news.
The most concerning thing about where they're headed is how unstable the air is in that particular area, and that's just going to feed some of them a little bit more. Some of them are going to choke out others. We're going to see a little disruption in the flow.
Right.
But there's still that concern as they enter that part of Kentucky, where again, since yesterday, we highlighted as the most critical part of Kentucky that could see some of the strongest storms.
Right, so we're going to go in and look at these storms. Still got that little bit of some spin on the Powell and Wolfe County line, and I'm watching these storms that are on the southern edge of the radar. I don't see anything too concerning. There's a little bit of spin on that cell that is to the east of Jackson there, and that's where the National Weather Service is, down into Breathitt County, and we're going to watch that rolling across southern parts of Magoffin County. But the tornado warning, the only tornado warning that we continue to see, is in effect for areas around Campton. We're just about ready, Jim, to get rid of this storm out of Powell County. I mean, it seems like this thing has taken the Powell County tour for the past 45 minutes or an hour. I mean, it literally paralleled how Powell County is oriented on a map. It moved right along that.
Every area, like almost impacted by at least some of the rain from it, and a lot of it from the most severe section of it.
Yeah.
But there you go, opening that up again, and you can still see an indication that it's spinning.
Yep,
you know?
got some spin. That's right on top of Pine Ridge. That is just a few minutes away from Campton, and if you look at that, it is still hugging the northern side of that tornado warning. Folks in Hazel Green, which is very close to the Morgan County line, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Downtown Campton, you're about just a few more minutes away from the beginning of this storm impacting you. But, you know, I said earlier, it's going to be a struggle for that storm to get into Lee County, and so far it is avoiding Lee County at all costs. Folks down there aren't going to complain at all to that, but we are dealing with that storm that is heading toward downtown Campton in the Pine Ridge area. That's essentially Red River Gorge and the Natural Bridge State Resort Park.
Big tourist spot, as we know, and a lot of folks love to get out there and get out and about, even on rainy days like it was this morning. You know, so people find that exhilarating. So there may have been a good group down there, and that's a concern right now with it bearing down on that particular area, and with some of it maybe spinning too.
Yeah, because earlier today, this part of the state had, while we were getting thunderstorms in Lexington this morning, they were at 80 degrees with some sunshine. Humidity was sky high. That's why you folks across the south and southeast have had the greatest threat for severe weather, because this was going to be your day. You were going to have temperatures that made a run toward the 80s with high humidity, while the rest of the state didn't get as warm. We didn't have that humidity. So the spin, it's still there. It's still fairly broad. It's crossing Highway 11. Coming out of Slade, coming out of Powell County, and it is almost into the Pine Ridge area of Wolfe County. And to watch this thing just hug the Mountain Parkway, it's essentially taking the Mountain Parkway from Clay City through Stanton and now heading toward Campton. That severe thunderstorm warning has now been has now taken. It hasn't taken precedent yet, but it looks like, Jim, what they're going to do is allow part of this tornado warning to expire and keep a severe thunderstorm warning going a little deeper. That goes into northern Breathitt County, gets into southern parts of Morgan County, near Cannell City, which is just north of the Mountain Parkway too, along just east of 205 there. But this part of the storm is still hugging the northern end of that tornado warning. And that's what we could see that was happening with that. So the tornado warning is set to expire coming up here in a little while, but that severe thunderstorm warning is now in advance of this, all the way to the almost to the Magoffin County line out of Wolfe County.
And which kind of backs up what we were looking at with the spin. It's not as intense as it was earlier. It's a broader circulation. It's not a smaller area where you try to look for maybe a tornado to develop, but that's what's happening with it. Losing some of the lightning, unlike that storm that you're looking at there in Owsley, Clay, and over into Perry County. That's a doozy with a lightning show, and likely headed toward the city of Hazard here within the next half hour or so with some strong winds. And the thing about these storms, 60, 70 miles per hour for straight line winds, very common embedded within that particular line. That's been a tagline all day on some of these warnings, and so that's a concern moving forward, because 60, 70 miles per hour, we had that, and it caused a whole bunch of damage without any storms, as
exactly.
you know.
And the good news on this, the southern edge of our storms beginning to fall apart just a little bit. Nowhere near as strong now into Pulaski County, into much of Laurel County, and certainly back toward Lake Cumberland. So that's a positive. Now, is that a trend that continues? We hope that is the case. But a storm out ahead of that, heading toward Corbin, likely going to be a hell producer, Jim, as it makes its way across northern parts of Whitley County and into western sections, far south of Keavy, and in toward western sections of the Knox County area, northwest of Barberville.
Yeah, you're talking significant stuff right there. All right, here's what just came out, 3:51. The tornado warning for Breathitt, Estill, Lee, Menifee, Powell, and Wolfe County has been canceled.
Good deal. Good deal.
So that is gone away. That doesn't mean that the threat of strong winds is gone, or even something that can spin back up. It's still a very active situation.
So we no longer have a tornado warning, and this is for the first time in nearly 2 hours that we haven't had a tornado warning, a little over, because we started that around 1 o'clock or so into Washington County and Marion County. Now we have severe thunderstorm warnings that are out across southeastern Kentucky. Looking at the overall line of storms, the line of storms has decreased somewhat, but I'm going to watch these storms that are out ahead of this main line across the southeastern corner of the state, where you see the increase in lightning here into parts of Breathitt and Magoffin counties, and then just to the right on top of Buckhorn and Perry County, and then near Corbin and north of London. Those are areas where some high winds and hail are very, very likely with this particular storm as it continues to make as they continue to make their way off to the east. But a whole lot of real estate, Jim, going to continue to be under those severe thunderstorm warnings for a little while.
And you're going to see these extended. That's the thing. You're going to see more and more of these coming our way over the next little bit. These warnings will go on down the road. Again, the environment is just so favorable for more development. That's why you continue to see these little individual cells that have fired up away from where the severe thunderstorms are. The environment is just so conducive for development of showers, thunderstorms. So they're loaded up and will continue to kind of truck along here with the severe elements. Again, 60, 70 miles per hour for wind. I did see hail possible in some of these storms, about 1 3/4 inches. 1 3/4 inches. So you're 1 3/4 inches. What are we talking about there? I can't remember.
You're talking about up to golf ball,
golf
quarter
ball,
of golf
at least.
ball.
Yeah. So you're looking at golf ball sized hail in that, and that's the one that is in Clay, Jackson. Nope, that's not it. It's the one over in Breathitt County. That's the one that I was talking about that could have that. So right there could be up to golf ball sized hail. Same one that you're seeing that's got all this intense lightning and a very heavy round of rain that's moving there in the far western sections of Perry County up around Buckhorn. That's what we're looking at there, Buckhorn, that community out around Buckhorn Lake State Resort Park too. And of course it's a lake, so folks could be out there on that as well. So they already know it, but they're certainly in trouble out there with the choppy waters.
Yeah, they are. And, and again, there's a new severe thunderstorm warning that is into Pike County, with that storm that is rolling its way into the eastern tip of Pike County. But what you're seeing now, if you're just tuning in, you're watching us into central Kentucky, we're okay. We're in the clear now. There is nothing to worry about for the rest of the day into the bluegrass area. The only concern is for about the next hour across several counties in the southeast. We have no tornado warnings that are active. We're going to keep this going up until we got news time coming up here in just a few minutes anyway, so we'll keep this going until news time. And obviously, Jim, we get tornado warnings, we're going to jump back on and take it continuously. But at this point, we're just going to keep it right on into news time. And it's a busy news day too.
I think there's an election.
There's
going on
election
today.
day,
Yeah.
and first alert weather day, and all this good stuff, right?
Right. When you texted me to come back, I just voted, so that's what I was doing. So
you got the I voted and I first alert weather day sticker, right?
All of them all together.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's what we got out there. But loaded with activity, and again, it's like that storm out in Pike County that you were just talking about, the one off to itself again that ignited another severe thunderstorm warning. And again, that's out of our area, but any one of these, like the one you see there and down in southern parts of Perry County or over toward Harlan, any of these could intensify and run up and be some stronger thunderstorms, which is what you're seeing right there. Again, off to themselves. And that's what a lot of this is. That one there in southern Magoffin with sparking a warning. And then this is all part of the main line of activity that we were concerned about earlier. Yeah, that's what we've been seeing. And we'll switch boxes here, Jim, so we can show a broader view of everything that is going on across central and eastern Kentucky, because it is the southern and southeastern parts of the state where we continue to see those strong and severe thunderstorms where damaging winds, large hail, the primary players. But for the first time in a while, we just had that tornado warning go by the wayside, and that was with a supercell thunderstorm that we started tracking before the tornado warning came out in Madison County. Jim, we looked inside that storm and you could see the rotation that was starting to come with that particular cell. It was started out with a nice clear, broad circulation and rotation, and then it tightened up. So if anybody got it, if anybody got a tornado on the ground, it's going to be somewhere in that northeastern section of Madison County, north of Richmond. That would be the primary place. And even as it got into Estill County, it still favored that as well. So there's a shot at that certainly happening. Right now, the tornado warning storm that started out in Madison County earlier, it's no longer a tornado warning storm. It's a severe thunderstorm headed down the Mountain Parkway and will likely go on through Campton. You can see it's already hitting them right now, and then we'll keep on the move toward Salyersville as well. So that's where we're kind of headed with all of this and that general flow of moisture that's across Kentucky right now. But as you said, once these thunderstorms kind of clear out, you're in much better shape, and things are a lot quieter. Do have a report of a tree down, and this is just one of many. That now what I'm seeing, they're starting to come in a little bit more. One down in Casey County, and then some down in Adair County. So here it goes, Chris. We start getting those reports now that the stuff is kind of passed on through some of these areas.
Yeah, a lot of time those are going to be delayed just because in today's world sometimes it takes a little, even in the social media world, takes a little bit to get information out and to disseminate it. Once the Weather Service gets it, then they push it back out to everybody else. So a little lag time in between there.
So you get all that. That's right. So it just kind of slows down, trickles down as we work through the evening hours. But that's an action-packed radar right there, buddy.
It is.
It is.
It is. Now, if we can switch back to box one. This is me talking to the folks up in the booth. What we're dealing with is we see all the warnings that are out, all the real estate on our box one showing severe thunderstorm warnings across eastern and southeastern Kentucky. That'll take us for just a little while longer, and that is going to continue for about the next hour. I suspect we're going to see these warnings going all the way to the Kentucky-Virginia border counties. I mean, we're almost there right now, but that stuff will continue to work into southwestern Virginia, maybe far southern parts of West Virginia. We like to see the yellows. We don't like to see the yellows, but we'd rather see those than the reds that are out. We still have that severe thunderstorm watch that technically goes until 8 o'clock. Folks, this is never going to see 8 o'clock expiration time because we're dealing with the storms that are beginning now to get into far southeastern Kentucky and will be out of the Bluegrass State coming up here very, very shortly in the next hour or so, Jim.
As a matter of fact, as you said that, I don't think the graphic took charge just yet, but they're peeling some of the counties off of it. Boyle, Casey, Clark, Edmondson, Fayette, Garrett, all dropping, just to name a few. Yeah. They'll be dropping off of the severe thunderstorm watch map here any second.
Well, that's exactly what we like to see, and with that line of severe thunderstorms pressing on into eastern Kentucky, that is about, given the forward speed of those, about 50 miles an hour. We're going to see, Jim, those storms out of the state certainly by the time the polls close.
Oh,
across
absolutely.
eastern Kentucky.
So improving conditions.
Yeah, so if you haven't voted across the southeast, hang in there. Your time, you can get in after the storms move through, and they should be out of the state between 5 and 6 o'clock or so. All right, so no active tornado warnings, numerous severe thunderstorm warnings that are out. We're on damage patrol to see if anything is spawning. It's also Election Day. WKYT News at 4 starts right now.
With First Alert Weather, this is WKYT News.
And good afternoon. A lot going on. Severe weather has been rolling through the region on this primary election day. Our viewers have been sending us pictures and video of the storms that have already hit our region.
Yeah, take a look. This video comes into us from Braden, Delaware in Richmond. You can see those thick clouds there gathering in the sky, getting very close to what looks like forming a tornado. Let's get you right over to WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey on this First Alert Weather Day.
Yeah, guys, every bit as busy as we anticipated yesterday, and highlighting the southern half of Kentucky on this WKYT First Alert Weather Day. Good news, for the first time in a little more than 2 hours, we have no active tornado warnings. We have numerous counties, though, that are under severe thunderstorm warnings into the southeastern corner of the state. Take a look at the map. The current warnings that are out showing up in yellow, and you notice across the far southeast, we're not seeing that as much of a line as what we were dealing with a little bit ago. Severe thunderstorm watch until 8 o'clock. is primarily across the south and southeast. This thing is going to likely be canceled within the next 1 to 2 hours, because by then, by between 5 and 6, those storms across the southeast are out of Kentucky. Now, we're still on guard for the potential for some of these storms to spin into southeastern Kentucky. As of right now, we have severe thunderstorm warnings, with a severe thunderstorm that is right on top of Corbin, north of London, into southern parts of the Jackson County area that is around Anvil, heading over into northern sections of Clay County. And from there, a separate thunderstorm. I think this is the strongest that we're dealing with on the entire map right now. That is on top of Buckhorn into Perry County. That is going to roll its way to the east, likely large hail and damaging winds with that particular storm. There's another intense thunderstorm southern parts of Magoffin County, heading toward downtown Prestonsburg. You can see that storm that is working its way through. We're also watching this particular supercell thunderstorm that has weakened considerably. This is the one that, when it was developing to the northwest of Richmond, we went and looked inside that storm before any warning came out, and we found rotation with that. And then a few minutes, we had a tornado warning out for that. So we were giving you advance notice on that, and it is still going strong into Campton toward Hazel Green, going to pass between Salyersville and West Liberty into southern parts of Morgan County. That's going to roll its way toward the east. From Owingsville back toward Mount Sterling, general showers and thunderstorms. Richmond, Lexington, Nicholasville, Georgetown, Frankfort. We can breathe a sigh of relief. There's nothing out there. Things are all clear as of right now. That is certainly some welcome news. But you can see how this line of thunderstorms is continuing to progress toward southern and southeastern parts of the Bluegrass State. Damaging winds, large hail threat going to continue for about the next hour or so. Lightning is increasing with that, and I'm going to watch for some pockets of flash flooding into southeastern Kentucky as well, because of course we needed another thing to worry about, but the possibility is there for some high water issues to develop with some of these storms that move over the same areas a couple of times in a row into the southeastern corner of the state. So guys, as of right now, severe thunderstorm warnings are out. Obviously, we're going to be weather heavy coming up here in the next little bit until we get rid of these storms. If we pop another tornado warning, or if we get any more damage pics or information, we're going to break in and let you know immediately.
All right, Chris, you let us know. Thank you. And you will notice there on the bottom left hand of your screen, there is a QR code. It's going to take you directly to our WKYT First Alert Weather app that you can download for free. We have been following this severe weather really all afternoon long here.
Let's go check it out, see what we see out there. WKYT's Grayson Passmore is tracking the conditions, and she's joining us now live in Madison County, where there were several warnings this afternoon. Grayson?
Yeah, guys, we are here in Richmond now, just off of the 75 exit. We, of course, traveled southbound on 75 to get here from Lexington. That entire ride here was a lot of just steady rain that entire time. It was also a lot of steady and pretty heavy traffic. About when we hit mile marker 97, that's when we first started to really hit a lot of traffic. A lot of cars were slowing down. It just seemed like a big slowdown from what we could tell. People probably trying to be very careful because the roads, of course, were very slick. Now, when we were traveling down here, we did see a northbound direction. We saw one car that appeared to maybe have just slipped off the road. It was getting taken out of the little ditch area by a tow truck at that point. So it was probably a good idea of all of the cars just going very slow, drivers being extra cautious right now. We did also get some pictures sent in by you guys at home. Go ahead and take a look at your screen and get a good look at these for yourself. We've seen viewers send us these pictures of dark storm clouds that moved over parts of Richmond since we've been out here. The rain seems to have subsided just a little bit, but we are hearing still a little bit of thunder since we first got out here, just in the distance in our area right here. Now, we haven't gotten any reports of damage in this area besides a tree down, but thankfully no structural damage so far. We, of course, are still checking with all of our emergency management agencies, and we will bring you guys reports of any damage and just any more weather reports. Just stay tuned with us. Live in Richmond, Grayson Passmore, WKYT.
Grayson, thank you. We're getting some power outage reports now coming out of Rockcastle County. Jackson Energy says about 2,500 customers are without power. Storms went through that area, impacted the Broadhead substations. Crews are working as quickly as they can to try and restore power. And again, stay weather aware with the First Alert Weather app. You can download it by scanning this QR code, or you can search for it in the app or Google Play stores. And with that app, you're going to get the latest weather alerts and radar. And even if you were to lose power, that app is still going to work with cellular data to keep you in the know.
Well, we continue with the WKYT First Alert Weather Day. Hi, everybody. This is the reason we put this First Alert Weather Day out yesterday, to give you ample notice to today's severe weather threat. And boy, Mother Nature bringing it. Take a look at the warnings that are out across central and eastern Kentucky as of right now. Eastern Kentucky, the focus of those severe thunderstorm warnings. Thankfully, the tornado warnings have expired. We had several of those that went for roughly 2 to 2.5 hour window of just continuous severe thunderstorm warnings. Instability today, greatest south of 64, and it continues to be the case. Now, in the next 1 hour and change, storms are going to begin to exit Kentucky. Thankfully, we're still, though, going to be watching these storms very closely from Williamsburg to Corbin, Barberville, with some large hail producing storms that are dancing around the area. Burning Springs here into areas north of Manchester. That's in Clay County. And then we go east of there. This is the strongest thunderstorm on the radar. This is just to the north of downtown Hazard. Hindman, that is heading in your general direction, coming up here in just a matter of some minutes. And I'm going to keep looking inside this storm, but right now not seeing anything in terms of rotation that would cause any concern, but that is likely producing quarter to golf ball size hail. Likewise with this storm near Prestonsburg into Floyd County, this storm coming out of Campton into Morgan County. I'm surprised we've lost the warning with that one. And then to the north and west of that, things are calming down dramatically, guys. So across central Kentucky, we're okay. In about an hour from now, we're going to be able to say, hey, in eastern Kentucky, we're okay. Storms are moving through very quickly, but still between now and roughly 5:30 or so, we're going to watch that severe threat across the south and southeast.
All right, and we'll stay on top of it. Thank you. Well, what caused a teen gunman to attack a New Mexico?
Hi, everybody. We continue with the WKYT First Alert Weather Day. Hope you're making the best of what has been a stormy election day across central and eastern Kentucky. And we're looking at 9 different sky cams from the land. And boy, look at that Moorhead cam with a thunderstorm passing over top of us. The severe weather threat is mainly combined now, or confined, I should say, into the London and Corbin area and points south and east from there. Radar picture in just a moment will bear that out. The current warnings that we have are only severe thunderstorm warnings, and those are large hail and damaging wind producers. Things are improving dramatically, thankfully, compared to what we've seen all afternoon long. We got severe thunderstorm warning out for this cell between Williamsburg and Corbin. That is heading toward Barberville, and it means business. That is going to roll its way through Barberville coming up in about 20 minutes or so, likely with some damaging winds and that large hail. To the north of that, severe thunderstorm warnings. You know, most of the storms are out of this particular warning, but the worst of the weather on the entire radar is with this storm that is north of Hazard. And I'm watching this that is becoming a little more west to east oriented. So I'm looking and I'm thinking, okay, watch the creeks and streams here. North of Hazard, northern parts of Perry County, in towards sections of western Knott County between Hindman and Hazard along 80 along the Hal Rogers Parkway, going to be dealing with some strong thunderstorms. There may be a hint of some rotation on the eastern edge of this over top of Hazard. We'll keep a close eye on that. Additional large hail producing thunderstorms showing up here into southern parts of Floyd County, southern parts of Magoffin County, and then this cell that is trying to pulse back up. Surprised we didn't continue that severe thunderstorm warning with this supercell thunderstorm. It is this storm that prompted all the tornado warnings back into Madison County and all the way into Wolfe County to the east. Farther to the north, we got showers, thunderstorms around the I-64 corridor, Lexington Metro. Folks, we're good. Breathe a sigh of relief. If you kind of put off voting until late afternoon before the polls close, you're good now. Get out there and do it to it. Overall, the rain is pulling away from central Kentucky outside of an isolated shower or two that'll try to make its way on in. So the overall view today, that low pressure yesterday we were tracking coming out of Missouri, made a beeline toward Kentucky. This thing moved almost due eastward, along and south of the track of that low, southeast of the track of that low. That's where we have been talking about the severe weather threat, and we continue to talk about it. Let's go into not Thursday, but your Wednesday. 70 to 75 degrees coming up tomorrow. Forecast breakdown into Wednesday. It's a better day, pleasant temperatures, dry skies for the most part on Thursday. I'm going to introduce, though, the chance for an isolated thunderstorm on Thursday evening. Catch a break on Friday, which is a windy and a warm day. And then by late in the day on Friday, threat is there for some thunderstorms with another cold front that'll drop in to the region. 7-day forecast plays out with better weather for the next few. We'll see that temperature spike a little bit Friday into Saturday with a cold front that's going to drop its way on in. And then we're going to calm it down a little bit as we go toward the extended forecast period. And speaking of calming it down, guys, that's exactly what's happening right now. Still going to watch closely, though, those storms into southeastern Kentucky. We get any warnings, we'll break in and let you know ASAP.
All right, Chris, we know.
With First Alert Weather, this is WKYT News.
Good afternoon to you. Severe weather continues to move through parts of the Commonwealth.
So it is not only primary election day, but also a WKYT First Alert Weather Day. Let's get right over to WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey and get an update on where things are.
It's been a busy afternoon across the region. As expected on that First Alert Weather Day, the severe threat targeting I-64 and south, and now we're left with just a few warnings into southeastern Kentucky. And by the time we hit 5 to 5:30, most of this is out of our coverage area and out of the state. Severe thunderstorm warnings out for a part of Perry County, into Letcher County, Knott County, Floyd, Pike, into Martin and Wolf, Magoffin counties. Now with a severe thunderstorm warning right on top of the Mountain Parkway. Radar is getting rid of these storms across southern Kentucky. Strongest thunderstorm here into the south is moving into Barberville, Knox County. It's a lot of thunder and lightning that we're dealing with this. Farther to the north, storms have calmed down a little bit into Clay County. Here's the storm, though, that is the absolute strongest of the bunch, or has been for about the past hour or so. This may have some hail with it as it makes its way out of Perry County and in toward Hindman into Knott County. Still not seeing any rotation with that. Did get that severe thunderstorm warning expanded with this cell coming out of Wolf County and into Magoffin County. That thing has been hugging the Mountain Parkway for the entire lifespan of this storm from Powell County and now into Magoffin County. That's the same supercell folks into Richmond were giving us all those photos of with that wall cloud showing up in a supercell thunderstorm. That is likely taking aim on downtown Sayersville with some hail and damaging winds as it makes its way out of extreme southern Morgan County and eastern parts of Wolf County. Farther to the north, we got heavy rain here into Richmond, down into southern parts of the Montgomery County area, southern Bath County, and into Frenchburg. And then all of a sudden, we get out of it into Richmond, Lexington, Georgetown. We're in the clear. We're all good now. So get out there and enjoy the rest of your evening after some big time rains. I can't rule out an isolated shower or two. But guys, between 5 and 6, and I think closer to 5:30, we're going to be able to sound the all clear on the severe weather threat for the day. But for the next little bit, we're targeting parts of eastern and southeastern Kentucky for some hail and high winds.
All right, Chris, thank you. WKYT's Grayson Passmore is continuing to track the conditions outside for us.
She's joining us live now in Madison County with the latest from the Richmond area. Grayson, what can you tell us now?
Yeah, guys, we're here in Richmond right off of the 75 exit. We were traveling, of course, southbound on 75 from Lexington to get here. And while we were traveling, there was a lot of pretty heavy, steady rain at that point. But the rain has really subsided in just the 30 minutes that we've been out here. When we first got out here, we did hear some rumblings of thunder off in the distance, but we haven't really heard that anymore either. Traffic has been just a steady flow of it here. It was going very slowly when we were on 75 to get here. Of course, those roads are very slick, so I think drivers were just trying to be extra careful. Here, the roads are still, we can see, very slick, but it just seems like traffic is moving just like normal. Now, we have been getting in a lot of pictures from viewers at home, what you guys had been seeing throughout this day. Go ahead and take a look at those right now. We've seen some viewers send us these pictures of very dark storm clouds that moved over parts of Richmond, kind of a little bit close to the area where we are now. Now, we haven't gotten any reports of damage in this area besides a tree down, but no structural damage that we know of right now. We'll, of course, be monitoring this situation and update you with any other information that we get in from emergency management agencies or the like. So just stay tuned with us. Live in Richmond, Grayson Passmore, WKYT.
All right, Grayson, thank you. And stay weather aware with the First Alert Weather app. To download it, scan that QR code that you see there or search for it in the app or Google Play stores. And with that app, you're going to get the latest weather alerts and radar. And even if you lose power, that app is still going to work with cellular data, keeping you in the know.
All right, so it's good that things are beginning to settle down now. And we hope that you were able to beat the storms and went to the polls early. Today is the primary election day.
Hi everybody, we continue with the WKYT First Alert Weather Day for just a little bit longer. And by 6 o'clock tonight, not only are the polls closing across Kentucky, but we're in all likelihood going to be able to say goodbye First Alert Weather Day. Right now, we say hello to 9 different sky cams from across central and eastern Kentucky, where you've got cloudy skies. We got some showers, thunderstorms that are targeting the south and southeast. That has been the trend for a little while now, and that continues to be the trend. Okay, newly issued tornado warning that is out now into southern parts of Magoffin County. So that just coming in. So now we're looking at a newly issued tornado warning that is out into the southern part of Magoffin County. That, my friends, is with the same storm that we have been tracking for a while, that supercell thunderstorm into Magoffin County. And that's the same one that blew up over top of Madison County. So we're looking at this, and it is across this southern part of Magoffin County. That includes the Royalton area. What we can do with this is that storm is zipping through very, very quickly. But on the southern edge of this, there is a little bit of some spin showing up. And there you go. That is right on top of Route 30. And that's toward the Middle Fork area. That goes over toward Rusaw into Breathitt County. So here is our spin that is on top of Route 30. This is going to be heading toward the Royalton area through Oakley, through Carver, and that will make its way into the eastern part of Magoffin County coming up over the next little bit. Far western sections of Floyd County, we are included in that. But this is a spin that is just developing. And again, that is right on top of Route 30. That's very close to the old Middle Fork Elementary School into the southwestern part of Magoffin County. And that's going to continue to work its way toward the east. So if you're watching us right now, Oakley, toward Carver, into close to the Tip Top area, Royalton, that is with a tornado warning that is heading in your general direction as of right now. The radar showing that particular spin, and we can go up close and personal. So there's 4 Acre, you see Carver, we just mentioned Tip Top, we're on the southern side of that. But eventually this spin is going to be working its way toward Royalton and Route 7. So here's downtown Salyersville. This is Route 7, Mason, getting toward Royalton, and then the Carver and Oakley areas would be in this general area. So we're watching that center of circulation, the spin, not center of circulation, but the spin with this. The couplet is right on top of Route 30. So the Mountain Parkway is right here, and this is where you would get off from the Mountain Parkway on Route 30, the Middle Fork area, and that spin between 4 Acre and Sites and toward the Mountain Parkway. So essentially, we're looking at an area south of Salyersville. This would be approximately 5 miles to the south of where that devastating 2012 tornado tracked through Salyersville and into Johnson County. This one holding together would be toward Royalton in just a matter of a couple of minutes. Ivyton were included in that, and again, this would go toward the Floyd County line, but we're watching this storm. It has been amazing to watch this same supercell thunderstorm pulsing up. And it's doing it one last time here into Magoffin County with that tornado warning that is out. So here is Royalton. This is downtown Salyersville. We may be getting some large hail here on the northern extent of that, but that is over toward the old Middle Fork Elementary School there on Route 30, and that's going to continue to roll its way to the east very, very quickly with that tornado warning that is out for just Magoffin County and part of Floyd County. There you see it gets into an extreme southern section of Johnson County too. That goes until 5:15, so we got about a 25-minute lifespan on that particular storm. So the southern edge of this is going to work its way. Our tornado is right on top of the 4-acre area. That is going to head toward the east. You can see the right-hand fork of Oakley here where we're talking about River Road. It's going to essentially be working right across the Licking River here between Lakeville and Oakley, and that's going to continue to roll its way toward Royalton and Route 7. So if you're in these areas of southern Magoffin County, you need to be in a safe shelter immediately. That tornado warning just updating. Let's see if I can get in on some new data with that. That is for southern Magoffin County, and that tornado warning, this is now a confirmed tornado moving to the east at 25 miles per hour. So National Weather Service now saying this is a confirmed tornado near Hendricks, just to the south of Salyersville, moving to the east at 25 miles per hour. So not only are we looking at a radar indicated tornado, but now we've got confirmation of a tornado that is moving its way across southern Magoffin County. That will make its way to the east very quickly and be on top of Royalton in just a matter of minutes. So we're looking at this storm moving to the east quickly at around 25 miles an hour. Up close and personal on this storm. So here's Royalton. If you're on Oakley, if you're on Carver, that is where we're dealing with this likely tornado. This is a confirmed tornado that is making its way just to the east now of Route 30. In Magoffin County, that's going to cross to the south of on the southern edge of Lakeville Road, and it's going to head over toward Route 7. Oakley Creek, Carver, we're dealing with this, making its way quickly now toward Royalton. That is right on top of Route 7. This is just to the south of downtown Salyersville. Downtown Salyersville, we're likely getting in on large hail with this. Confirmed tornado based on the correlation coefficient drop with this, which is an indication that the radar may be picking up on some debris showing up with this storm. So if you're in southern Magoffin County right now, you folks need to be doing me a solid and getting into a storm shelter immediately. If you're in a mobile home, you want to get out of that right now. You do not want to be in a mobile home. If you got a neighbor that has a brick home or a sturdy structure, that's where you need to be. So we're looking at this confirmed tornado that would be heading toward Royalton. This is Route 7. That's the connector between Salyersville and Royalton, which is in the southern part of the county. Route 30 is the connector that goes from Salyersville to Jackson and Breathitt County. So this is now east. This is Hendricks. This is the 4-acre area. Here's where we had that confirmed tornado, and that is making its way just to the south of downtown Salyersville. So from Lakeville through the Mason area, Mason Creek, into Oakley, into Carver and Royalton. We need to be in our storm shelters immediately. So this was a severe thunderstorm warning that has now been replaced with this tornado warning, and it is heading toward Royalton and Route 7. And the path on this, if it keeps the trajectory that it's on, it's going to head toward Ivanton on the Mountain Parkway connector. That's 114 between Salyersville and Prestonsburg, and that is going to cross over into the western part of Floyd County coming up within the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. But as of now, I'm looking at this and look, that's a strong rotation signal that is showing up between Lakeville and Carver. This is in all likelihood right on top of Oakley. If you're in this area, if you're in Royalton, this is a storm that is heading in your direction, and it means business as of right now. Again, National Weather Service going now with the confirmed tornado with this as it makes its way across southern parts of Magoffin County. And I'm going to keep checking. I'm going to step off here. I'm going to keep that radar image up because with a confirmed tornado now, we want to make sure and get the latest information from social media if we're getting any reports coming out of southern Magoffin County. But this is the tornado warning that is out heading toward the city of Royalton along Route 7. And that is a potential tornado. The reason the warning was issued and then upgraded to a working tornado into Magoffin County. That is heading toward Royalton. And you look at the radar with this. We're looking inside this storm, and we are indeed picking up on that strong rotation. And this is the same supercell thunderstorm that we have tracked now. Here's the broader view of that. That's on the far eastern side of the area we focus on. That is our WKYT coverage area. So there is southern Magoffin County. This is to the south of Salyersville. This is right on top of the Royalton area, and it is zipping its way through there very quickly. If you got some friends and family down here, and a lot of us do, this is back in my old stomping grounds here, you need to give them a call and let them know they need to be in their storm shelters, and they need to be there immediately. This tornado warning is going to go until 5:15 for Magoffin County and into a small sliver of Johnson County and western sections of Floyd County. So Route 7 snakes right through here. This is essentially on top of the Licking River right now. Here is Route 7 around Royalton with a confirmed tornado, and this would be the spin that we're looking at that is making its way through here. This is the same supercell thunderstorm we have tracked since it developed north of Madison County, north of Richmond, around 2 o'clock this afternoon. It has prompted tornado warnings just about across the entire path of this storm, and it's flexing one more time. So you can see on the radar where we've got those winds that are now going in opposite directions. So this is on top of Route 7 in Royalton. Lakeville, this storm is bypassing us just to our south and southeast, but we're likely getting in on a good inflow of wind going into this storm as it continues to work along Route 7. This will head toward Ivington. This is essentially the mountain parkway that we're dealing with that goes from Salyersville into Floyd County into Prestonsburg. And that's going to make its way into western Floyd County in about 10 minutes or so. National Weather Service rarely upgrading to a confirmed tornado, but that's what they're dealing with this right now. This is an area that was really hard hit a few years ago in northern parts of Magoffin County back in 2012 by those March 3rd tornadoes. West Liberty, Salyersville. This one is bypassing us just a little to the south of that track. But when I look at this, we're seeing some intense rotation that is ongoing here, heading toward Royalton, heading toward Gypsy and Ivington. And in just a matter of a few minutes, that's going to cross over into parts of the Floyd County area. So we got a few more minutes before this can get out of Magoffin County, moving as fast as it can. So this is over toward Gun Creek and eventually Marshallville, Old Burning Fork Road. Listen, we're on the northern edge of this, but boy, that's going to be a little too close for comfort there on Burning Fork and Old Burning Fork Road. A lot of folks live there, Ivington as well, and just to the east of Royalton, likely getting in on large hail with this storm as well as it passes its way across southern parts of Magoffin County. I'll step off and see if we have any updates from the National Weather Service, going with possible flooding with that too. But the possible tornado with this was upgraded to a working tornado just a little bit ago, a confirmed tornado, and that was based on the radar picking up on what looked like a little bit of debris potentially showing up with this storm as it makes its way into the southern part of Magoffin County. If we look at the broad view, the storms are just about out of our coverage area. This is the far eastern part of our coverage area. Severe thunderstorm warnings are out into Knott County, down toward Harlan County. But again, the one tornado warning that we have continues to be in effect for this particular storm that is right on top of southern Magoffin County. Moving through at a rapid clip, Oakley, Carver, Royalton, and now 114, that is the Mountain Parkway, and it's known as kind of the Mountain Parkway extension that goes from Salyersville into Floyd County and Prestonsburg. This is what we're talking about along 114. And if you are in that area, if you're anywhere on this map that we're showing you, you need to seek that safe shelter, and you need to do it now. Getting into western parts of Floyd County in just a matter of minutes. That may clip southern Johnson County. We'll see if that warning gets extended, but we're looking at this, and the rotation may not quite be as tight as what we were dealing with a little bit ago. It's a little on the broader side, but nonetheless, given the fact that this was a confirmed tornado across southern parts of Magoffin County, Yeah, we take that very, very seriously, and you need to as well. So the radar picture has this moving to the east at roughly 25 to 30 miles per hour with that confirmed tornado very close to the Route 7 area in Royalton and rolling its way toward Ivyton and Gypsy. What I'm going to do is step out just a little bit, and we're going to broaden the view out to show you what we are dealing with. You see Bradley, and there's 114. How close are we to Prestonsburg? We're still pretty good ways away from downtown Prestonsburg, but this is not too far away from Salyersville. Weather Service going with an extension of a severe thunderstorm warning that goes into eastern Magoffin County and through Johnson County and into Floyd County as well. But the confirmed tornado into southern parts of Magoffin County right on top of Royalton, where you see on the radar, where we're dealing with the radar color coding that area of white. That is the radar saying, hey, we likely have large hail coming from this supercell thunderstorm yet again. That is not shocking. It's been a calling card from this particular storm, and it's also been the calling card where this storm sometimes cycles up and starts to spin just a little bit. And we've been getting that rotation from time to time, and it tightened back up here as it made its way into Magoffin County in the southern part of Magoffin County. This warning, it goes until 5:15, so we got about 14 and a half minutes or so left on that. I suspect by the time we hit 5:15, that is out of Magoffin County and it is rolling its way into Floyd County. But we're going to continue to look inside. So what we're dealing with now is a storm that doesn't have quite the spin as what we were dealing with just a little bit ago back across the Route 30 area. This is where the Weather Service started to pick up on the rotation with this, and we started to see it as well. And it was right on top of Hendricks, the Middle Fork area of Magoffin County, essentially is what we were talking about with that. And now it is into Royalton, Carver, Oakley, and rolling to the east of Route 7. Now, once that gets to the east of Route 7, it's going to begin to impact 114, which would be the Mountain Parkway that goes between Salyersville and Prestonsburg. And by the time we get to about the 505, 507 mark of in just 5 or 6 minutes, the worst of this is going to be now entering western Floyd County, southwestern parts of Johnson County. Paintsville, we're okay. Prestonsburg, we're likely okay. That is just to our north and northwest. Downtown Salyersville, tornado sirens are likely going here. Those sirens were put in place after the deadly or the devastating tornado we had back in March 3rd of 2012. This one is a little farther to the south of that with the track, and it is rolling its way through. But I'm looking at this, and the overall spin is not as prominent as what we had 5 minutes ago, certainly not 10 or 15 minutes ago. It has broadened out just enough, and this is over a fairly rural part of the county. This is into the southern part of the county, so if we're going to get reports from this, they may be slow to trickle in. Hopefully nothing is coming of this, but when you have the Weather Service tagging this as a confirmed tornado, they were confirming that based on something that we call correlation coefficient, where the radar, it's just another way the radar can look inside a storm, not just to show the winds, but it was showing what may be a little bit of an uptick on the radar image, showing what could have been some debris. We'll see. Hopefully that was not the case, but nonetheless, that is right on top of Royalton, and it is rolling its way toward the east. This spin with that is nowhere near as prominent as what we were dealing with just a matter of a few minutes ago. Tornado warning has been canceled. Good news there. So that spin that we were looking at has now flattened out. So again, if you're watching us here now into Magoffin County, into Floyd County and Johnson County, that tornado warning has now been canceled. But we're going to continue to watch the storms that are out there. Any of those storms in an instant is like what we were just seeing, can begin to spin up very, very quickly. Guys, what we're going to do, we're going to continue to watch these storms, and we'll be checking down into Magoffin County to see if we had any damage, because this was tagged as a confirmed tornado across the Route 30 area of Magoffin County over toward Route 7. Chances are we may start to get some damage reports. Again, as I said, those are, it's kind of in a more rural area, so it may take a little bit before any damage reports trickle in. But if we get any information, we'll break in and let you guys know immediately.
Chris, thank you very much and well done. And this is WKYT News at 5. We are going to show you some of the damage we've had today, some of the issues out there as we take a look at some of the video coming out of Madison County this afternoon as those storms were rolling through. This is in Waco, that of course to the east of Richmond. So far, emergency officials in Madison County say there is no major damage reported from the storm today. The sheriff's office says they do have a report of a tree down in northern Madison County, and that's pretty much all they've heard of at this point.
And we're also getting some power outage reports in Rockcastle County. Jackson Energy is reporting about 2,500 customers without power there. Storms went through and impacted the Broadhead substations. Crews are working to get the power on as quickly as possible. And remember, you can stay weather aware with the First Alert Weather app. To download it, scan the QR code that you see there on your screen, or you can always search for it in the app or Google Play stores. And remember, with that app, you're going to get the latest weather alerts and radar. And even if you were to lose power, the app is still going to work with cellular data to keep you and your family in